Warning: the view and opinions of the New Culture Empire are his own and they may trigger you. Watch with caution.
The debt was discharged. Okay, cool. Can you please tell me, from an accounting standpoint, on how that discharge will look on the books? If you know it, you know. What's your loan evidence on the balance sheet, and what balance sheet did they have to use, and what line and what item is your loan accounted for on the balance sheet? Just off the top of your head. What's the security number? And the numbers on your birth certificate. And everything is just trust law. Moving equity. Trust. All these trust law people, if all this was so true and it was just that simple, why is the poverty rate still what it is? But when you're dealing with people that actually knows the game and knows and can understand and can pick up and can point out inconsistencies on the fly, those are the people that gets banned from their lives.
Not assigned to any court cases, any type of criminal bonds or anything of that, or an individual. It's only for corporate securities or municipal securities.
You need to be, let's keep the conversation light, let's keep the conversation casual, let's sit here trying to get to know each other, let's see if we can have a conversation, let's see if we even get along before we want to decide if we want to have a second date or not.
But I'm unable to see the remaining balance. It says NA.
See here. The reason that you're not able to access the information through our customer portal is because of the email that we or letter that we received from you. That was actually escalated to our compliance team. So whenever we have, an issue or we're investigating something, we place everything on hold.
I am not stepping on y'all toes, and none of you all are a threat. You wanna know why? Because everything that y'all talking about is the same they said for 40 years ago. None of you will ever have me in fear or jeopardy. Like, y'all ain't no competition. You a competition. Y'all sitting there talking about securitization. Y'all know nothing about a securitization. You're talking about this simplified, oh, it's just this, securitized, it's discharge. You know you don't know the actual accounting that they do. They know you don't know how to fight them, argue, and combat them. You know you don't know how to do it. I know you don't know how to do it because I know, and this is coming from, man, the back office, I'm just gonna say that. A lot of stuff that you need to know to beat these people is their internal operations. I've yet to see one person on here talk about anything that they do internally. What we go over in group is right in line with the legal standards and the professionalism on how it has to look and what you need to know when you attack these people.
The words that he used was, you're going about it, standard operating procedures.
So they will not have a driver's license, a vehicle registration, an insurance card, or anything in which there is some type of implicit contract, verbal or nonverbal contract, in which the United States government can hold sway over them as a slave. Sovereigns believe in two different things, that each of us are two distinct individuals. We are our free man, which is our flesh and blood, our human aspect, and we're our straw man. And that straw man is that corporate slave, if you will, to the United States corporate government.
Ah, the government. It loves you and wants to keep you safe and well. It even wants to make paying taxes, fines, and court costs easier for you. How? Well, you'll need to meet your straw man. He was born the same day you were. He looks like you, has the same name, and lives in your house, but you never knew he existed. You will have even paid his parking tickets or taxes. The worst part? He's been dead from day one. From every birth certificate, A legal personality, or legal fiction, is created with the same name to confuse little old you into thinking it's you. So, there is a human you and a paper you, or as it's commonly known, a straw man. So when it seems like government officials, court clerks, or the police are speaking English, they aren't. They're speaking legalese, designed to make you agree to verbal and written contracts without even knowing about it, all spun from Black's Law Dictionary. For example, when the police say, "Do you understand?" you'll say, "Yes." What they are really saying is, "Do you stand under our authority?" Oops-a-daisy, you just created a verbal contract with them. Oh, you clever government.
Welcome to the New Culture Empire. Now coming to the stage, your host, Thomas Legacy.
You're rocking with the best. You're rocking with the best. You're rocking with the best.
Ha, man, oh man, oh man, oh man, oh man, oh man. Welcome to another edition of the New Culture Empire, powered and sponsored by the Supreme Elite Team in association with the Accrual Accounting Collection Agency. The Accrual Accounting Collection Agency kind of sits in the back. It sits in the back. And one thing about that is you don't want to see the Accrual Accounting Collection Agency, because when you do see them, sorry, let me adjust it. When you do see the Accrual Accounting Collection Agency, there is a problem. There is a problem. There is a problem. When you do see the Accrual Accounting Collection Agency, there's a problem. Yeah, my channel will be back monetized back in November. They shadow banned me because, not because of anything I said, it's because I made a post about Kamala Harris. It was actually a short where she was saying there was no active U.S. forces overseas. And then I posted a short with the U.S. forces, the soldiers overseas actually listening to the speech. And then they were like, if we not overseas, where the hell we at? Yo, it got 47,000 views in like a day and climbed up to 87,000. The very next day, bam, your channel's demonetized. And it had nothing to do about what we talk about on the regular. So that threw me for a loop. Yeah, the very next day, it was like in 3 days, it got almost like 100,000 views. They took it down. I said, man, this is something I just shared. It's already been reposted. But anyways, y'all already know how we do it. So today, we are going to, like that title better, revisit some things, because 3 years, and within this 3 years, these spaces has evolved. A lot of gurus have rebranded themselves. And with the rebranding of themselves, They seem to want to erase history. But me, I always say, learn your history or you're bound to repeat it. So today we're going to go back and do a little we're going to have a little history lesson today. Today's going to be a little history. Just so the one.
You're rocking with the best.
Shout out to the one on the Cash App. Appreciate you, bro. Ski. All love, all gas, no brakes. Appreciate you, bro. Ski. So we're going to do a little history lesson just to make sure we don't forget where this space started. Because there's one thing to rebrand yourself and move forward and be like, y'all, we got it wrong here. So we go, whatever we did here, we're going to correct this over here. So I'm going to make sure y'all get right. I'm going to correct this. My bad. Misinterpretation. No harm, no foul. But we're going to correct it. And then after we correct this, this is the path where we need to be on. And I've done more thorough research, got more confirmation. So this is where we're going on, but we're going to correct this first so we can, keep everything on the up and up. No. See, what these gurus do is they want to erase the past. They want to erase it. Don't want to correct it. They want to act like this part of their teachings never exists and that their teachings start from today. But no, I am going to remind them, even if they forgot themselves, of exactly what they were on. So, Coach MT. I remember Coach MT. He came around the time around Chris Hauser. See, a lot of these gurus sprang from up under Chris Hauser. They saw Chris Hauser was going viral with his 1099A videos. And then, bam, the very next week, we had about 15 gurus talking about 1099A. A lot of gurus that you know today learned from Chris Hauser. Now, here's the difference. No, here's the key element. They learned from Chris Hauser. So you know what that means? They got their talking points from Chris Hauser. They filled out their tax returns like Chris Hauser. Their reasoning was like Chris Hauser. Being the beneficiary on the 1099A from Chris Hauser. So when you're getting all your studies, all your talking points, your foundation based on someone else's words, that means you never did any thorough studying yourself. And one thing that's always going to be relevant is your understanding and your foundation, because your foundation determines your longevity. All these gurus today, all they're doing is just recircling the wagon. See, they don't know how to continue to that trajectory that way because they don't have any foundation. So they're going to be stuck. You only go as far as your knowledge and your understanding. So if your knowledge and understanding is limited, then guess what? You have no choice but to circle the wagon. You can't branch out and expound on the topics because your knowledge is very, very limited. So with the knowledge being very, very limited,
talk about the 1099A in that process, okay? So before I get into it, let me give you a warning. If you are filling out the 1099A in the OID and you're not doing it correct, you will get notified from the IRS, especially if you're looking to attempt to get paid with the 1099A. Because what's going to happen is at the IRS, it's going to look like you made income that you didn't make.
Coach MT, this was one of your claims to fame. getting paid using a 1099-A, paying your bills, paying your debts using a 1099-A. Now, I tried to go on his Coach MT to pull up all those 1099-A videos. He has removed them all.
Original issue discount document, the 1099 OID, is to document income that was made. Okay, so if you're looking to get paid with it, be careful. They're going to send you out a notice. Hey, here's a proposal bill. Now you're going to tell them, hey, that's not what this was or what have you. I didn't earn that income to get it fixed, but be careful. Okay.
This is Coach MT today. He doesn't go by Coach MT on YouTube anymore. It's Fila University. This is Coach MT today. Now, Coach MT, this is his new channel, Dominion Chambers Syndicate. But when we pop in his old channel, there is no evidence that he ever was talking about the 1099-A. Removed all remnants of it. But this is what pops up. But Coach MT, do you remember? Coach MT, do you remember? Coach MT, do you remember? Do you remember, Coach MT? Remember this? Pay your bills. You can pay most, if not all, your bills with the 1099-A. You have 15,000 views 3 years ago. Coach MT, where is this video at? Where's this channel at? You see what they do? They always want to erase history. They always want to erase history. Now, found another one. Look, they want to erase it. And this is from 2 years ago.
And I just wanted to kind of follow along with somebody that lived in the same state as I, you know, because just because some things in the USC codes will change. Now, he is one of the first people that I came across. And Coach, I tell you, I was on your platform, your YouTube channel, probably for like 2 or 3 days. Video after video.
It's funny how the channel that she's referencing is no longer up. And this is from 2 years ago. And you see that laugh? Yeah, girl, you know, none of that shit worked. Yeah. Yeah, you late.
After video, because I was like, he is making so much sense to me.
Yes, of course he's going to make sense to the low informed, low hanging fruit. Of course, it sounds good to people who don't know how to decipher. It sounds good to the people who don't understand the term. If it sounds too good to be true, most likely it is. See, of course it's going to make sense to 99% of the people, but the 1% of the people, it sounds utterly foolish.
So that's, you know, I kind of became addicted to that. But I do want you to explain a little bit of the Fila University and what you've set up. I think it's great.
Here we go.
It's a great educational tool to consider. So take it away.
Well, thank you for, you know, having me on.
Yeah, you're amazing.
I appreciate it. I'm just, you know, I just found some good
She want to give him the box right now.
information. I actually found it on accident, but
Same.
You know, I was working people's credit, and I found the codes.
No, you piggybacked off Chris Hauser because you came out the next week after his 1099A video went viral. So let's cut through it.
And I was like, oh, here's where the answers are.
Right.
So it fell like that. So, but what I've set up in the university is just a way for you all to learn this process. First of all, to let you know that it's real, to let you know that it's for you. All right. A lot of people, I'll say a lot of people believe that this is that conspiracy theory stuff. And the reason they give it that term is to keep you away from it. Right.
No. They give it the term because it has no legal basis in law of fact. I'm so tired of people just, they're saying that because they don't want you to get close to it. They're saying that because they don't want you to know the truth. They're saying that because they don't want to sit. No, they're saying it because it has no base in law of fact. Why can't it be that you notice that they never want to acknowledge that side of the coin? What if your method of going about it is wrong and they realize it's wrong? Why can't you ever be wrong? Like, think about us as a people and teachers. Why is it that we can never be wrong, but the system can be wrong? The professionals can be wrong. The judges can be wrong. And I'm not saying there's times where they don't get it wrong, but why is it that the default is whatever the teacher is saying, they can never be wrong?
Give it those scary terms.
Yeah.
So that you won't look into it. Okay.
If that's the case, then they wouldn't make it public. The 1099A instructions are public. The statutes and regulations governing the forms are public. They didn't hide it. The problem is the way the IRS intends those forms to be used versus the way y'all say for them to be used. Talk about the gurus are two different things. See, y'all read the instructions, y'all read the regulations, y'all read the statutes, but y'all never want to talk about the statutes or reference them when you're showing people how to use these forms, because you know, gurus, that the way you are telling people to use the forms are not the way the regulations and the instructions says use the form. So you stay away from the instructions and the statutes because you know that if you were to cross-reference them while you're teaching or instructing, you know that the statutes and regulations will be contradicting the way you say use it. And then you will have to explain live how to make your method fit when they're looking at the regulations and the rules that totally don't say that. This is why gurus don't ever want to read directly from the regulations and quote their source right then and there. And the few that do it, it's cringeworthy because they're making things up on the fly. They don't even understand what they're reading. So it's either going to be a misinterpretation or they're going to stay away from the rules and regulations.
But you know, my dad told me different. He said, whatever they tell you not to pay attention to or you don't need, that's the stuff you need. And so I just became curious. But in there, we just have training on, you know, how to discharge debt, how to, you know, if you want to go private.
How to discharge debt. Discharge means you are still obligated on the contract, but you're still indebted on the contract, but your obligation to perform on the contract, such as making the payments, have been discharged. It's a term that's used in the bankruptcy context. So when you talk about discharging a debt, the only thing it means is that your obligation to perform has been discharged, meaning, yeah, you owe this debt, but you're not going to be responsible to make the payment anymore. Okay? You see what I'm saying? So there's actually no way for you to discharge the debt. It's actually called set off or recoupment or restitution. But that means in order for that to happen, you will have to prove from a legal standpoint why you're entitled. And we all know courts are like taboo to these gurus. Stay away from them as much as you can. Still not using the term correctly.
And we're always adding new pieces to the process.
One second.
You're rocking with the best.
Albert Hill, appreciate you, broski. Appreciate you for the cash app. Thank you. Y'all be like Albert Hill in the one. If you like his support, you like what you're hearing, if you appreciate the excellent information that I give to you in my teaching, hit the cash app.
Because one thing I've learned is that everything is assumed until you express it.
No, that's not true.
Everything, even your quote unquote U.S. citizenship is assumed.
I swear, boy, a leopard just can't change his spots. Because, one second, y'all. This is the reason why. I'm gonna tell you the reason why. Some leopards just can't change their spots. This is why some leopards, right here. 14th Amendment, Section 1. Now, he just said that your citizenship will be assumed unless you, I don't know what he's trying to say, or rebut it. Here's the number one issue with that. Here's the number one issue with that assumption of the 14th Amendment. All persons born or naturalized in the United States and subject to the jurisdiction thereof are citizens of the United States and of the state wherein they reside. Okay? Okay? So if you have a birth certificate, you have a social security card, and you've been growing up in your state, you are a citizen of the United States and the state which you reside, regardless if you want to self-proclaim to be yourself this in nationality and file this with the Secretary of State. It doesn't matter. You are a U.S. citizen. Want to know why? Because if you were abroad and you had the choice, and there was a war kicked out where you was at, and they said, like, hey, if you're not a citizen of this country, hit the embassy. And you had the choice of Morocco, have the choice of the Congo. I don't anybody want to go there. You had the choice of the United States of America embassy. Which embassy are you going to? Since you say you're from Morocco, which embassy are you going to? Are you going to walk into the Moroccan embassy and be like, yo, I'm one of y'all's? You know your asses is coming to the U.S. Embassy. You know you are. I guarantee you won't record yourself walking in that U.S. embassy. So stop the cap. You're going to the U.S. embassy. See, that works good while you're in the United States, but take your ass over there to a foreign country. I bet you they going to know who you are before you. They going to call you an American. No, I'm not an American, from Morocco. Whatever. I bet your ass going to that American embassy. Because y'all know none of them ever got citizenship in Morocco. Y'all know they don't. They think that they can just self-proclaim their status and that's it. You know none of them got a pass. You know they don't got dual citizenship. You know they don't. You know they don't.
And until you express it, either through a trust or through documents, and they get recorded or they're on file, then you know you are what they tell you are. But when you express it, then that's who you become. All right.
But the 14th Amendment, Section 1 just says it. They don't give two rats' asses or what you express. You are that to them. That's it. And it doesn't matter what we say we are. It all depends on how they treat you.
Right. And that's what I learned in this entire process. So we just have a lot of coaching, training. We have several members that offer some great services. Mr. Trotter offers a really great training, and then Brother Bizarro, he does all the trust and documents and injunctions, and you know those.
Basically, what he's saying is instead of filing an injunction in federal court like the real lawyers do, they're talking about the injunction that you're just going to send to a bank or something, telling them they under HJR 192 they got to stop doing what they're doing. That's all that means. And remember what I told you about this trust? Remember I told you about the trust? Everybody needs to trust. They ain't got no assets they transfer into it. They not transferring any income producer assets into the trust. No bankruptcy remoteness assets into the trust. All they're doing is just taking an asset that probably already got a lien on it, like their vehicle or their home that they know they didn't pay off, like they know they don't own clear and free, which the courts have repeatedly said you cannot transfer assets into a trust that still has an encumbrance on it because they're going to pierce the corporate veil and creditors can still go after the assets. So you think, most people, this is what they do. When most people think of trust, they think of setting up trusts to shield themselves from any obligation, shielding themselves to having to pay a debt because it's in a trust now. That's their mindset. So just because you was Coach MT 4000 on YouTube, now you feel all your talking points, everything you're saying is still the same. You can't change it. The sovereign citizen is still in you. No matter how you try to dress it up now, everything is still sovereign citizen. Everything I'm hearing so far is still sovereign citizen.
Those paperworks you have on file. I'm a private attorney general, and I'm
private attorney general. Remember that guy Anthony Anderson from watch this. Well, I told you they make it so easy. 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 No. Look. There you go. Private attorney general. Watch this. Watch this. Private attorney general. See, this is what this is them. Codified in the Civil Rights Attorneys Award. There you go. Private attorney general. They always use it. They always use it. Now, This is what a private attorney, real private attorney general means. This is what a real private attorney general means. Or public interest lawyer is an informal term originating in common law jurisdictions. We're not under common law jurisdiction anymore, so the term private attorney general does not apply. For a private attorney who brings a lawsuit claiming it to be in the public interest, benefiting the general public, not just the plaintiff, on behalf of a citizen or group of citizens, the attorney may, at the equitable discretion of the court, be entitled to recover attorney's fees if they prevail. The rationale behind this principle is to provide extra incentive to private attorneys to pursue suits that may be a benefit to society at large. Private attorney general suits are commonly, through not always, brought as class actions in jurisdictions that permit their certification of class action lawsuits. I bet you he didn't know that nuance. I bet you didn't know that distinction. Historically, in English common law, a writ of quitem was a writ through which private individuals who assist a prosecution can receive for themselves all or part of the damages or financial penalties recovered by the government as a result of the prosecution. So, to be honest with you, none of this has anything to do with what they don't even know the true meaning. But where do you see private attorney general at most? In Morse sovereign citizen cases.
Also, a CFO of a bank as well too.
Nice.
And I'm about to be a judge.
Okay.
CFO of a bank, private attorney general, a judge. A judge. I bet it's not the judge the way I think of a judge. I bet on a bench, on a robe, I bet you some self-grandizing, self-proclaimed, just giving yourself titles.
But it's amazing information, you know, and being in this community, people find me. They say, "Hey, coach, there's some stuff that I think would be good for you and the people." And I look into it, learn it, and if I believe it's something we can help, I'll make a whole process out of it. But it's been awesome to be in this position.
Yeah, and I think when everybody starts to kind of wake up to it,
I told you they're going to continue to get the airplay because 99% of them think the same. 99% of them got the same arguments, the same sayings, the same beliefs, the same scripts. It's only the 1% that actually understands real law. This is blind leading the blind. The wide road that everybody takes is easy to find, it's easy to follow, but it always ends in destruction. The narrow path, where so few people find, so few people will ever understand, it leads to everlasting life. And this is a prime example.
and realize like we do have rights and we do have these laws and codes that are put in place for us. It kind of, my biggest thing was people are scared of it. You know, people are scared to try it, I guess, you know, and you have to put the fear away, you know, and the more that you study, the more knowledgeable that you'll, you know, because we weren't taught this. We weren't, no. So you have to make that move, that intention to go down that rabbit hole to look for this stuff. There was times
if there's a discrepancy between the number and the words, and it says, oh my gosh, I read every coupon.
Here we go.
And bills, like what is a bill? You know, what is
here? Pay close attention. Remember my post yesterday? Remember my post yesterday? Let me read my post to you right quick. Let me read my post from yesterday. Every remittance, remember that? I mean, y'all can go on it. But remember, if there's a discrepancy between on your money order, what's written on the money order versus what's printed, the written money order takes precedence. But what they don't realize is that every money order already has a serial number attached to it. It doesn't generate a serial number unless cash was being exchanged. So just because you buy a $1 money order and then you write $27,000 on it, it doesn't make it a $27,000 money order. It makes it a $1 money order. Can you imagine a company, a world, a system where all you had to do was buy a $1 money order, scratch it out, and write whatever amount you want on it? Do you imagine how bankrupt we'll be in a day? Do you imagine all the greed and desperation that people will be reflected on those written amounts? Man, they will deplete the assets of this country in one day. And do you think the money that they would get from that will be used to actually progress this country? No, it will be all used to be a bigger consumer. I guarantee you 95% of the things that we'll buy will not have any actual value. It will only be consumptions.
What is the bill? What is a presentment? What is the coupon? And
bill, presentment, coupon, one of the top 3 topics for sovereign citizens.
I was watching someone's video and I was like, oh man, let me look that up.
What video did you watch? Perhaps Chris Hauser's?
Bill of Exchange Act.
Bill of Exchange Act, Mensa. Damn. Yo, I am good.
You're rocking with the best.
Depending on what comes out of their mouth, I can trace it back to what sovereign citizen guru they're talking about. Wow.
Everything in the Bill of Exchange Act is what you do on the dang bill. I was like, oh my gosh. I read
That's Mensa.
I said, even there's a thing in there called figures and words.
That's Mensa.
All right. Figures and words. And it says on there, figures and words. Let me see if I can find this, because I do have this up all the time.
And it's just the way they write things. It's
just the way things are written. So
yeah.
Figures and words says whatever you write on the bill, if there's a discrepancy between the number and the words, whatever the words are written is what's payable. Okay? So I was like, wow. So even if you put $10 on the check, let's say you write a check to somebody, you put $10, but you write $30, the check will pay $30.
Yep.
You're rocking with the best. You're rocking with the best.
What did I just say? What did I just say? What did I just say? That's what they think. That's what they think. They don't even understand how the financial system works. Told you. Just because you changed the name Coach MT, and the reason why you changed the name and went private, because you took a lot of money under that Coach MT 4000. Now you go by Marlon. You took a lot of under that YouTube video. Now you moved on this side. We know, because you took in all this money claiming to help all these people. And I'm not here to judge your intentions. Maybe you was fooled. I don't know whether you intended it on purpose or not. And you realized you couldn't make do, and you wasn't giving a refund for all those thousands of people that you had coming to you for 1099 services. This is what you're doing. If you get a check and it has $100 on it, and you scratch it out or whatever and put $1,000, they are going to verify the original intent of the check. This is why checks are pre-typed in ink. and it has a check number, and they log how much this check was issued, all they're going to do is check the books. No, we didn't issue this check number 5032 for 10,000. We issued it for 1,000. Money order, serial number, a postal money order at that. They like to use the postal money orders. It has, you gave them $30 cash. It's printed on it. So when you write it out, you get through the cracks most of the times because they're actually thinking it was a mistake, that the actual number on there was supposed to be 30,000 or the written amount, but it only printed that. So that's why they check the serial numbers. The serial number is going to go back to the cash. But you notice one thing that they'll never do, especially with those postal money orders? They'll never show the receipt to validate that written amount. They'll never show the receipt because the receipt tells you how much you actually paid in cash. They'll never show the receipt. You notice that, right? You know how they'll try to justify through some pseudo-legal sovereign citizen documents. But if they ask for the receipt, I guarantee you they'll never turn it in, because this is what I mean with the mindset. They are committing fraud. They know they're committing fraud, and they're encouraging others to commit fraud and act in bad faith. Those are one of the two main things you get out of these teachers: how to commit fraud and how to move in bad faith.
It won't pay 10. It'll pay whatever's written. Figures and words says whatever you write on the bill, if there's a discrepancy between the number and the words, whatever the words are written is what's payable. Okay? So I was like, wow. So even if you put $10 on the check, let's say you write a check to somebody, you put $10, but you write $30, the check will pay $30.
And this is, they think that's legal. They think they can legally do that without a legal justification. And this is what I mean about context. They don't have context or understanding. He is misinterpreting what it says. It doesn't mean, I told you, everything is a literal interpretation to them. No context, everything is literal. They take everything literally. It doesn't mean you can write it on there. It doesn't mean you could just, all right, 30, all right, let me write it for 3,000 because I need 3,000. There has to be an actual legal dispute on why there's a difference. You can't just write it on there and it pays that out. Oh my God.
Yep.
It won't pay 10. It'll pay whatever's written. Because that's what's expressed.
Yeah.
I said, oh my God. And then I was looking into notice of dishonor.
Yep.
What are all the notice of dishonor? What did I tell you? I told you all they do is go underground, revamp it, but it's all the same reasoning. It's all the same intent. They can't never get away from their original foundation. This is why I say foundation is important, because everything you do after your original introduction is going to be your mindset throughout this whole thing. He started with a sovereign citizen mindset, and he don't even realize, to a person like me, everything that's coming out of his mouth is sovereign citizen. He thinks it's legit. He thinks it's new. He thinks it's something worth value. Everything that he is saying now has already been tried and rejected at least 25 years ago. I told you, these gurus have nothing.
Right? The drawer or whoever the endorser is, you're the drawer, we're the drawers, have to, whoever you send it to, if they don't accept it, they have to send you a notice of dishonor. I'm like, dadgummit. So the check will pay $30.
Yep.
It won't pay 10. It'll pay whatever's written. Because that's what's expressed.
Yeah.
I said, oh my God. And then I was looking into notice of dishonor.
Yep.
Right? The drawer or whoever the endorser is, you're the drawer, we're the drawers.
He don't even got the terms of it right. The drawer is the one who is supposed to receive payment. The drawee is the one who is the payment supposed to be coming from. It's the drawee that accepts it. And then the drawee pays it themselves, or the drawee sends it to the drawee's bank to be paid. But bills of exchange are not used in everyday transaction. It's mostly used in the shipments of goods, international shipments transactions. And the bill of exchange is backed by the shipment of goods. It's backed by invoice. And the bill of exchange is just another word for a check. So the normal bills of exchange that you're going to use every day are checks that you tear out a checkbook. See, but they got to use the bill of exchange because they can't pull that off on a real check. So they got to use these little pseudo-legal loopholes to try to pull off their fraud. Everything he's saying is fraud. Everything is fraud through and through. Whether he knows it or not, it's fraud.
Have to, whoever you send it to, if they don't accept it, they have to send you a notice to dishonor. I'm like, dadgummit. So I was like, they're telling you what to do with these bills. And it's you know, they go through everything, checks and all that kind of stuff. But I just kind of focus on what the bill said. And then bills and coupons are the obligation of the United States. You know,
it's an instrument. It's literally an instrument.
And it tells you how to make it.
Bills and checks are obligations of the United States. What is that? Sovereign citizen. They all think all of our obligations are obligations of the United States, regardless how many times the government says no. Because here's the thing. Ask yourself this question. See, this is where logic. See, this is why they can never fool no one like me. So if the government was actually obligated on my bill, then why isn't the government the guarantor? Why am I the one responsible for paying? And if they know, like, you notice how it's so funny how you just said bills and, you know, debts are obligations of the United States. But why is it that the bank doesn't know this? Or the creditor doesn't know this? Why is it that nobody knows this but them? Because we're into the financial world, which everything is pretty much set in stone. Why is it that these financial transactions that he's talking about, nobody just knows? The government did not co-sign the agreement with you. The government is not responsible for private debts. Hell, the government relies on us so they can pay their debts through mainly taxation. So what the hell you think the government just going to be running around paying our private debts? It doesn't even make sense, y'all, because it's a bunch of misinterpreted statutes. Obligations of the United States are obligations like treasury bills, T-notes, or direct obligations that the government has agreed in writing to assume. There's no agreement in writing with you, Coach MT, that the government is going to assume our debts. But based on this, the way I see this statute and the way it's interpreted, that, oh yeah, HJR 192, which was nothing but a move off the gold standard, what was nothing but making all coins and currency of the United States uniform. HJR 192 did not have anything to do about them paying our private debts. All it did was abrogate the gold clause in contracts because we moved on to a fiat-based currency system and not a gold-based, meaning no one can ever demand payment in gold or silver. And you know that's the law because no one has ever demanded you payment in gold and silver. So if there was a contract that demanded payment in gold and silver and you gave them $100 bills, then the debt is discharged with that $100. That's all it meant. That's all it meant. Whatever is recognized legal tender at the time of the payment. Bills of exchange are not recognized legal tender. Negotiable instruments are not legal tender, but they can be accepted as legal tender because those negotiable instruments can be converted into legal tender. A check is not legal tender. It's a negotiable instrument. But since a check can be converted into cash, And when I say checked, I mean in the general sense, written on a checking account, even though we all know what it is. But since sovereign citizens play the semantics game, every normal word, every legal, normal, general term always has to have some deep esoteric meaning to it when it just means the normal, regular word. So I got to keep filtering, making sure I make sure when I mean check, when I shouldn't have to do that. But I know they're sovereign citizens. They take every little thing and stretch it to something that has no legal basis. So, notice of dishonor. The obligation of an endorser stated in section 3, section 413, section 415A, and the obligation of a drawer stated in the same subsection D may not be enforced unless the endorser or drawer is given notice of dishonor of the instrument complying with subsections 2. Notice of dishonor is excused under section 504B. Now, let me see. Enforce presentment otherwise. If notice done not said, enforce the obligation of the party to pay the instrument. So these are the exceptions of dishonor. See, he don't even know. Oh, they got to notice how he takes everything with the literal meaning. Oh, they got to give me notice, but he don't even know these are exceptions. Excuse, presentment, and notice dishonor. So these are when they don't have to be able to do it. Here's evidence of dishonor. The following are admissible and create a presumption of dishonor and of any notice of dishonor. You see that? So, a document regular in form as provided in subsection B, which purports to be a protest, a purported stamp or writing of the JRE, basically saying this notice is dishonor, or presenting bank on accompanying the instrument stating that acceptance or payment has been refused unless reasons for the refusal are stated and the reasons are not consistent with dishonor. A book or record of the JRE payer bank kept in the usual course of business, which shows dishonor even if there's no evidence of who made the entry. You see what I'm saying? So the mere fact that they didn't give you a notice of dishonor doesn't mean there's not an evidence of dishonor. As long as there's evidence of dishonor, that's good enough. So when they keep your fraudulent instruments and put them in the shredder, you should already know they didn't honor it. So there's everything he just said right there. I told you, these people have no context. They have no ability to read beyond the surface and catch the proper interpretation. Context is a moving part, like the Morris brothers said on Pocket Watch with JT. It's moving parts. Just because you see it and read it doesn't mean that may be exactly what it says. It's how it's implied, how it's being applied, the interpretations. This is why 99% of people fall flat on their face, because they can't separate the fact or come to the conclusion that everything is interpretation and context. Everything that you read is not 100% automatically what it is. This is what makes financing so tricky. This is what makes courts so complex. And this is why 99% of the people never get anywhere. And this is why
you're rocking with the best.
Because these are the things that we master over here at the New Culture Empire.
Instrument, put pay the barrel, order, or pay. Yep. It tells you what to do. Okay, so I just started putting that information out there to let individuals know that, you know, we're working hard for no reason.
Yo, you sound like you was a Mensa student. Everything you say sounds like a Mensa student. It sounds like a Mensa student. Everything, it's 2 years ago, this video, it sounds like a Mensa, because everything you just said is false. Everything you said will not hold up in court. Everything you saying will be labeled as sovereign citizen and get rejected. Everything you said. You had not made one single point, and you've been on here for like 16 minutes, all goobly gobbly gibberish. To the uninformed, oh my gosh, you sound so secret, esoteric knowledge that nobody knows. I got to get with him. Ladies and gentlemen, shit is all fraud.
Right? They tell you to go to college to get a job, and then you get a job to pay for college.
He sound like, man, he sound like he took Mensa's courses. Don't Mensa sound like this? Exactly from Mensa. I can hear Mensa saying this. This is exactly sound just like him. 3 years ago, he was sounding like Chris Hauser. All he do is just jump from guru to guru and then run back to his group and become the most knowledge and informed. 3 years ago, you sounded like Chris Hauser.
And some of the colleges are actually fraudulent.
Oh yeah, definitely. I used to work for a for-profit college. It was horrible. They was gouging these people for, you know, penmanship, a penmanship degree, and it was horrible. So my goal is just to get the information out. Now, a lot of stuff you can't share in the public. I'm just gonna let you know, because
wrong. The right way to do things is 97% of it is publicly available. But if you don't even know it exists, it makes it seem like it's a secret. None of what I talk about to teach is a secret. That is the biggest surprise that a lot of people have. A lot of stuff that I talk about ain't no secret. It is not a secret. The rules have already been set. But if you never had intent on following the rules and you want to make up your own way, you will never know the rules to the game. Everything with the IRS finance, it's all public record. Everything is public. So if you're not using the practical law, the practical rules, the practical regulations, everything is public. There should never be a way to get a remedy that does not involve following practical law, following the rules that are established. If anybody is trying to come up with an alternative way to get the remedy and they can't even point you to the practical regular laws to get it, it's a scam. So it goes back to the mindset. If you don't have the mindset, you don't even know what to put in the search engine to look it up.
Because it's those things where, you know, I don't want to get my channel shut down.
Right.
I swear to God, you'll be doing a lot of people a favor if that happens.
So that's why I was like, come. But if you're inside, you'll get all the good.
Told you. Inside. Now, I hold my groups private because I had too many people over the past 3 years run back to me with evidence that people are taking my talking points and trying to convert themselves into a teacher. Don't know shit what they saying. I had a lot of people show me videos of gurus literally regurgitating what I just said. And a lot of ones that are well known. So I don't come out publicly on YouTube and start teaching stuff like this because people like to steal my mojo. And I'm not saying that people, I started this when people were alerting me. I didn't know who these people were. They'd come back to me with it. So since a lot of people like to steal my mojo, the only way you're going to get this is you're in my webinars or in my Supreme Elite Team group. It's the only way.
Yeah.
If you're a member, you'll get access to that stuff. But I'm just, you know, I'm sharing testimonials, I'm sharing information, you know, just to let people know, you know, that
I would love to see these testimonies. Oh, I would love to see these testimonies. They all got testimonies.
This is for us, and we're the reasons all this is going on. You know, that we the people, yeah, they're borrowing from us. And
told you. But in what context are they borrowing from you? See, they can never break. You notice how they'll come up with a catchy phrase, a phrase like, oh shit. But you notice that they never ever break down what they mean, what they're saying, because it's all general, vague talking. Or they're borrowing from us. In what context? Break it down how they're borrowing from us. And I bet you every answer that they give is going to be something that has nothing to do with the government's definition of them borrowing from us. The government borrows from us. The only borrowing that the government does every day is taxes. That's it. They're not borrowing from the secret account because none exist. There is no Cestui Que Vie trust. And that term is even being used wrong. That's more like an insurance term. There's no secret account with your name on it that you can miraculously access one day. If you still believe it's true, you're only lying to yourself. And most people that still believe it's true because they're actually relying on that to get them out of their financial ruts that they're in. Well, newsflash, you're not getting out of your financial rut that way. It's just not going to happen.
And we became collateral. So we're just showing you how to.
Told you, and we became collateral for what? Let me guess. For the government debt, citizens were converted into collateral. You are talking right out the redemption manual. That's redemption manual stuff there. And they all think they did their research. Remember I said you could be studying for years but never leave first base? This prime example, Coach MT. Been studying for years, never got a full understanding. So, new culture. This is what I mean about foundation and understanding. This is what I mean right here. When you don't have it, you're going to go down every rabbit hole except for the ones that you're supposed to. This is what I mean.
How to get that cleared up.
That's awesome. And they can find you at Coach MT4000 on YouTube. Do you have other platforms?
I'm on Instagram too. Same thing, Coach MT4000. I'm on TikTok as Coach MT. I think I'm just Coach MT. I can't remember what I did on TikTok. I'm not on Twitter. I'm not a big tweeter.
I'm not a tweeter.
I'm not a tweeter. But yeah, Instagram, Facebook, I have the Lifestyle Augmenters, Financial Impact and Lifestyle Augmenters Facebook group. We're going to do a free webinar on there as well too.
It's exciting.
Just some information for people.
Yeah.
But if you just look up Coach MT or Coach MT4000, you'll find me on all the platforms.
The platforms. That's exciting. So the proof of a straw man, I think it's funny because I work in a salon. So when clients come through, I try to drop little breadcrumbs for them. Like,
I don't know why. There ain't no need for you to do it because none of that shit's real.
Like, hey, did you know that you're a millionaire? And they're like, shut up.
Told you. What did I just say? They all believe there's some secret millions and billions of dollars in a straw man trust account. And if you hook up with the right teacher that knows how to access it, think about it. If you hook up with the right teacher that knows how to access it, lady, there is nothing new under the sun. If there was a straw, let's just say that was real. Let's say that was real. When whatever generation, whatever era that first discovered it, maybe the first few people would have got their remedy and nobody would have got it after them. Do you think that since it's so widely believed and known that the government is just going to continue to cash out millions of dollars just for anyone that shows up? I told you, they all think that they're going to be the one to access it, not thinking like, well, if I've been hearing people talk about this secret account for 40 years and people back then access the secret account, but I can't point to no law on the books that says the government must give it to you when you ask, or they must have these accounts set up in their name. I've looked there is none. And you can't say there is because the same ones who try to use the law to evidence it is not saying what you think it is. No one has ever pointed to any laws that was passed by the government establishing trust funds accounts in the names of U.S. citizens, because every account on the Treasury books is considered a trust fund. It's documented. There is no secret trust fund account. Every account of the government is public knowledge. Every account of their agencies, when they do their end of the year books with the Secretary of the Treasury, all those gazillion trust fund accounts, every single account on the books is subject to public viewing. So why is it that our trust fund accounts are not viewed? So if there's not no law passed establishing, it's not in the private, it's not in the public view, then how do you know it's there? How do you know we got it? If you can't point me to the people who set it up, any evidence that they did, how do you know they really set it up? Because you're going by what someone told you, what you read, but you never really, you don't really know for sure that there is a seed. Now let's ask yourself, how do I know? I'm talking about from a legal standpoint, what I can point to, where I can just say here, direct concrete evidence. No one has ever produced it. That means it's just theory. And that started with the early sovereign citizens, people like Roger Elvin. That's where it all started from. Then Winston Stroud. From the late 80s, early 90s, that's where that came from. It never came from a government agent that blew the whistle. It never came from that. It came from a belief. People are doing things based on another individual's belief.
You know, and I'm like, no,
Right.
for real, like you
Right,
really
right.
are, you know. And so, you know, usually they come every 4 weeks, 6 weeks. So I've had some time with them. And so now it's like that they do ask questions. Like, well, what do you mean you're straw man? And I'm like, well, you had a fake entity created when you were born too, because your name is in all capital letters on.
1 second, y'all. I swear to God, I swear on my mama's grave, I swear for the love of my mom, I swear for the love of my mom. Let me see if I can pull this up. This is her right here. This is her right here.
Straw man, and that straw
Sir.
man is that corporate slave, if you will, to the United States corporate government.
Ah, the government. It loves you and taxes, fines, and court costs easier for you. How? Well, you'll need to meet your straw man. He was born the same day you were. He looks like you, has the same name, and lives in your house, but you never knew he existed. You will have even paid his parking ticket or taxes. The worst part? He's been dead from day one. From every birth certificate, a legal personality, or legal fiction, is created with the same name to confuse little old you into thinking it's you. So, there is a human you and a paper you, or as it's commonly known, a straw man. So when it seems like government officials, court clerks, or the police are speaking English, they aren't. They're speaking legalese, designed to make you agree.
What did she say that was so different? I told you. That's why I put it there.
Now it's like that they do ask questions. Like, well, what do you mean you're straw man? And I'm like, well, you had a fake entity created when you were born too, because your name is in all capital.
And I put the person that was commenting on that video, it was a joke. They was using it as a joke. It was a joke. She's actually taking it serious. It was basically to show the absurdity with it. But this is what they believe in. The absurdity.
Capital letters on passport, driver's license. Like, I'm breaking this all down. And it does make sense because they can visually see that their name is all, you know, like what I'm saying is factual.
Your name being in all caps does not mean they're talking to a separate and distinct entity. Whether your name is spelled in all caps, last name, first name, middle, it's still you. It reverts back to you. There's no separation. There's no secret but distinct entity. None of it.
But where I get hung up at is people will instantly ask, well, have you done this? And I'm like, well, I have, but I'm in the process of asking for all of like Verizon and AT&T. I'm asking for those paper copies.
So I'm sorry to keep interrupting. That's always going to be the number one answer question. Have you done it? And you know what's so crazy about it? The answer is no. None of them's ever accessed it. None of them has ever accessed it. None of them has any concrete proof. None of them has ever captured that 100 billion. None of them ever has. Because if they did, if they actually captured that 100 billion or that 100 million, they would never be around for you to know. If I had $100 billion, why would I charge you $500 to access yours? If I had $100 billion, even 100 million, why would I need to charge you $500 to access yours? A complete stranger. Something so distinct, something so sensitive that I'm just going to offer that up to complete strangers for $500. If you ask your 100 billion, 100 million, you'll be so rich that if you put somebody on, you'll just put them on because you mess with them, and you'll walk them through every step. You wouldn't be in public like, everybody, I'm gonna help you access your account for $500. It's a money scheme. All you're doing is just paying for a belief. You're never going to get none from it. You never are. And this is why they don't like me, because that what they believe in so much, this is like a religion. So basically, it's the equivalent of me saying your religion is not real. They hate to hear the words because their future is tied up into the hope of getting this one day.
So that I can endorse the back of it and then send it back. And typically,
what is that? It's nothing more than the same old acceptance for value method. Get all the securities, get your bills, get your statements, endorse the back of it, send it back in, get the account charged off. They've been saying the same thing for 40 years. There's no new methods being taught. It's all the same, circling the wagon. That's all this is. None of this is new. None of this is groundbreaking. This is why they hate me when I join their lives. They know when I'm in their lives, especially on TikTok. They know when I'm coming. And when I hit the panel, it's like, all right, what you got for us today? Oh, yeah, I know what I got. Another dream killer.
write a cover letter of sorts, to accompany that, that payment coupon. So is that right? Can you elaborate a little bit more on that?
Before he answers, y'all, let's do this before he answers so it won't make it seem like I'm trying to misrepresent him. And can you pay a bill with the remittance coupon only? No, you cannot pay a bill with just a remittance coupon. It is a form that accompanies a payment, such as a check or money order, to help the billing company accurately process the payment. The coupon itself is not a negotiable instrument, and it lacks the funds to complete the transaction. You must include a separate payment along with the coupon to settle the bill. Here's the thing. Most people take classes because they know the last part is true. They already come into the class knowing they need to attach a check or money order because most of them have already done it before. So what they're really doing is trying to figure out a way to pay the bill without money, which is 99.99% of every class, webinar, process, document, is to get goods and services of the United States without really paying for it. And in their everyday lives, They know it's not a reality. They know it's never happened. They know they can't do that, go to Best Buy with a tax form. They know they can't go to the store and do it. They know every day they step out in the world, they're paying with cash or credit. They know it. Their everyday lives is not reflective of what they're teaching. They know this already, but yet the idea of not paying the bill, the idea is keeping extra money in their pocket is what forces them to take the class. They take these courses on the idea of what it can be, not valuable, solid, evident proofs that this is the right way to go. That's the distinction. So there you go. And they got links. I know this is Google, but we know the regular thing. It identifies your account, facilitates automated processing. That's it. And if you look on your bill, it says attach this to your check or money order. So, you use it? Yeah. No, just look on your bill. Attach this coupon to your check or money order. Now let's see what his answer is going to be.
Well, yeah, when you're doing the coupon, what you're doing is a counterclaim because every bill is an offer to contract.
You're rocking with the best.
Remember?
You're rocking with the best.
Remember with Crypto Girl? Every bill is a check. Remember I was telling her last November? But that's what the sovereign citizens think. Every bill is a check. Everything is an offer. Every bill is a contract. Told you the single literal meanings of what they mean in everyday life. Nope, the sovereign citizen bug. Now it means, it's a check. It's really money. It's really credit because there's no negative sign there. It's really this. It's really that. That's all it takes. That's all it takes. That's all it takes. Is you get bit by the sovereign citizen. That's all it takes for you to start thinking illogically, to start making yourself sound crazy. I told you. Everything he said, sovereign citizen. It's sovereign citizen. Through and through. Sovereign citizen. That's what they all think.
All right. I have someone's bill right here. I'm helping them work on, but this is every time you get this is an offer to contract. So if you go back to the Bills of Exchange Act, when you're doing your action, you're doing your counterclaim. All right.
Sounds just like Mensa. It sounds just like something he would say. You know what a bill is? It's a bill. It's letting you know how much you have to pay. You've already contracted with them, and they set up the account to evidence your obligation to pay. You know that's what it really means. But yet you got to tell yourself it's something else. But the reality is, it's nothing more than a statement showing what you have to pay. It's not a check. It's not a coupon. It's not a contract. It's not a credit. It's not a dividend. It's something you have to pay. That's all it is. Just simple. Let's just take it back to normal reality. A bill is something that most people dread, but it's something they have to pay. Because if you don't pay the bill, you can lose the services or goods that you are actually relying on. You don't pay your electric bill, you lose your lights. You don't pay your water bill, you lose the hot water. Use water that you need to cook and take showers with. You don't pay the gas bill, you can lose the heat. You know these things. You don't pay your phone bill, they're going to disconnect the service. Y'all know these things in real life. So what you would rather do is play Russian roulette with the necessities of your life based on the thought of it being true, based on what can come from it. But then guess what ends up happening? They always get their water bills cut off. They get their water cut off. They get their lights cut off. They get their electrics cut off. They get their credit cards accounts shut down, which they rely on for that extra money when they don't have the cash. They get their vehicles repossessed. They get their homes foreclosed on. And this is what continuously happens every day when you follow people like Coach MT. He's not even doing this in his real life. These gurus never do what they teach and advocate for, because you're going to pay people like him for a theory of a process, while he's going to take your real money and pay his bills with it. The same ones who's pushing these private plates, private this, get your private plates for me, get your license for me. But these people got their license plates registered with the DMV and their driver's license. Multiple gurus have been put out for that. They never advocate and do the things that they're teaching. They never doing the things that they advocate for. They're never being a living example of what they're teaching. They never start with themselves as the example. They're never doing it in the moment of what they're teaching. He does not pay his bills this way.
Your counterclaim for set off, because that number on there is a positive number. There's a credit due to you.
Counterclaim for a set off. Why? In the Supreme Elite Team group, we can prove legally why we're entitled to a set off. Oh, we there ain't no doubt about that. But remember when I said I'm light years above these gurus? Because from my way, I can prove a set off from the security standpoint, from the accounting standpoint, backing up with relevant, legal, up-to-date case law. Their way of justifying the set off is because the bill is really a check. That's their justification. Because the check is a positive number, meaning that's what they owe me. Remember when I said there's doing process for the theory, but then there's doing process that matches the legal standard? So I judge everything I do is, how would I sound? How would it look if I was in front of a judge trying to explain this? Because what if they don't honor their sovereign citizen documents? They're going to have to sue them to court. I mean, it's your right to set off, right? And where do you go to get your rights enforced? In court. Most people think that your rights are enforced outside of court. 99% of your rights are enforced in court. These where courts are set up, cases of controversies. So if you feel like you're on the right path and you know what you're talking about, what is and they don't do what they're supposed to do, because y'all know that's why they have courts. Just because you feel like your rights are being violated doesn't mean they're going to stop doing what they're doing. You think that your rights are always going to be upheld by them? So what better way to really test your teachings and your understanding or your knowledge than to stepping into court with it? That's the standard. Can I win in court? Coach MT, the argument you just made, can you win in court with it?
Contract. So if you go back to the Bills of Exchange Act, when you're doing your action, you're doing your counterclaim. All right, your counterclaim for set off, because that number on there is a positive number. There's a credit due to you. All right, the credit due to you, what we call your principal account.
It's the same thing that Tajir Bey argued in court when he got evicted. When he lost, and the judge, the lawyer broke it down, everything that he was saying in court, and the judge kept saying, well, what account? What are you talking about? And he ended up losing. So do you think, because when they still send the bills, I know they're going to send the bills, and then most people are not going to pay it. They're not going to recognize defeat and pay it. So the bills are going to stack up and stack up, stack up. What do you think Coach MT has for you? Do you think he has a legal and legit federal or state lawsuit? Do you think he has that for you? Absolutely not. You know what he's going to have for you? Multiple sovereign citizen administrative process and documents that are all going to meet the shredder, that are all dead on arrival. But social media gurus, why not test your teachings in court? Don't even wait to be sued. Won't you go file as the plaintiff and bring that claim to court? That's the only way we can really see if you know what you're talking about or not. How about you bring your claims in court?
You want to know why? Because they're all petrified of court. They know they won't win in court. They know it get thrown out in court. So if your case is going to get thrown out in court, what makes you think they're going to be scared if they stop violating your rights? What are you going to use to enforce it against? Let me guess, a whole bunch of administrative. Now, won't you take them into court? Won't you bring your counterclaim in court? Because set-offs are only legit. I'm not even going to give y'all the elements of a set-off, the prongs. I'm not even going to give it to you. If you're in the Supreme Elite team, you already know. But the last one is enforceable in court, meaning whether you have a right to set off is a legal determination. But I thought you knew that, gurus. It's a determination for the judge to make whether you have a legal set off. So if you're talking about any type of set off, you got to go to court with it anyway. Let me guess. You thought it's just still administrative. This is why I am the best.
You're rocking with the best.
When it comes to this stuff, outside of a professional, y'all, I'm sorry, y'all ain't got nothing coming with these gurus.
Your principal account is you.
So what is that? Principal account? It's the same old sovereign citizen stuff. He can't win in court with this. They're going to throw it out. You want to know why? Because they already seen arguments like this before, and none of them ever win. But look what he's doing. He's giving an interview, and she's like, oh, this is so groundbreaking. It's all fraudulent. None of that works. None of it's real. But these are people that will still, and just like her, she don't really know what she's doing. It just sounds good. She don't know that she's climbing down the wrong rabbit holes. She don't know that. And I don't give a damn about what testimonies they're going to, well, I was able to, I don't give a damn about that because I know what the law says. I know what courts have ruled repeatedly. And I don't give a damn if they even show something. I would never teach that to my class because I know what the courts say and I know better.
Positive number. There's a credit due to you. All right. The credit due to you, what we call your principal account. Your principal account is you, your estate, your straw man, whatever you want to call it, your all caps name. So that application that you filled out for the loan, because it's all loans, all right? Credit card, mortgage, car, utility bill, cell phone bill, all of it. When that application is approved, that application then becomes Federal Reserve note.
This man is biting right from Mensa. This man is biting right from Mensa. This man is biting from Mensa. I knew it when he kept saying Bill of Exchange Act. He is biting from Mensa. He is still in Mensa. All Mensa's talking points. He is stealing Mensa's talking points. He was sounding like Chris Hauser. That was his guru. Now it's Bill of Exchange Act. They don't even know the Bill of Exchange Act does not apply in everyday transactions. Told you. Shout out to Mensa. Mensa, you responded to me, man. Shout out to Mensa. Hey, Mensa, no hard feelings, man. But we don't keep it a beam, Mensa. You not fucking with me with this shit, man. I know shit that you don't even know exists. But it's all good, though. I still want to help you with your court case. I still want to help you. What did Mensa say? Get a life, bro. I'm out of your league. Woo-wee! Out of my league. The only person that's out of my league is the ex-SEC attorney who I talk to every now and then. And the other professional accountants for 25 years, those are the only ones who are out of my league. You got to be a professional in securities law, accounting, tax law. I'm talking about lawyers, MBA. Those are the only ones that are out of my league. Now, for real, those are the only ones. And I may be right up there with them to a certain extent. But none of you all will ever be out of my league. And I can't even go back and forth and debate y'all what you know, what I know, because what I know, you're going to turn around and start selling to your people. I can't pull up the stuff I'm referencing because you're going to go back and start selling that. So the only thing I can do is just refute what you're saying by using
everything I have. I'm not going to tell you what I know, how I know a debate, because every guru out here would be biting off it.
For the amount that the application is written for.
Told you.
And then that
Told you. That's Mensa. Look.
Approved. That application then becomes Federal Reserve notes for the amount that the application is written for. And then that company then changes it in for lawful money. That's why they can pay these CEOs millions of dollars, right? So when you're endorsing a bill,
this is why I say these gurus don't even have a baseline understanding of how corporations work, corporate financing. They don't even have the amount of years it would take them to understand what we go over in our group on a daily basis. They don't even have a baseline understanding. That's not how corporate CEOs get paid. Corporations CEOs don't even really get paid like the shareholders. They get dividends. They got stock in the corporation. They're not getting a salary. Most people that get hired to run the company gets a salary, but the shareholders of the corporations, they don't get fucking salaries. They don't even know how corporate financing works.
telling them to do is apply that credit to my principal's account.
So that's all you do is apply the credit because it's really mine. Apply that credit to my principal account. What is your principal account? Explain the principal account and how can you evidence that principal account from an accounting standpoint? How can I explain this in front of a judge? They never can. See, this is why they would never let me in their group, because I'm going to ask them questions that I already know they don't know the answer to, because I already know they would have to know what I know they don't know to answer the question. Because I know the answer to the question before I ask them. So when I be asking these gurus questions, I'm not trying to siphon information from them. I'm just trying to see if they really know or they're just pretending. I don't jump in their lives to get information from them. I don't give a fuck what evidence, what receipts they show. I still would never take any advice from them. You want to know why? Because they're not a professional. Like, I take advice from top professionals in the world. So I'm never going to take advice from them, especially on these topics.
Because you've already gotten the money. So just apply the credit. So when you write pay to bearer or to order on there, you write the word accepted, right? Or accepted for value. Value means valuable consideration. Accepted means that, it was received because now you're the holder of that bill, okay? And then you write the amount that you want to have payable in words, and then you sign on the back, all right? Or you endorse.
I didn't do any of that.
yeah, you do it on the back. So
I did sign the back, but I didn't do all of that on the front. I just
you have to put that on the
please
front.
Credit this to my account, and then I have a cover letter.
You put that in your instruction letter.
Yeah.
All right. When you tell them to credit the account, you put that in your instruction letter. But on the bill, you write, what makes it a negotiable instrument is when you write pay to bearer or to order. All right. Now, if it's late, you want to put pay to bearer or to order, and you want to put the words pay on demand. So if it's after the due date, you put pay on demand, and then you cross the date out. All right. And then you put the word accepted on the bill, on the coupon.
On it.
Lady, don't do it. I swear to God, you're not going to get nothing. Accepted for value may refer to AFV. Acceptance for value or accepted for value, a scam based on a fraudulent payment method promoted by sovereign citizen. Oxymorons. So let's just see if there's acceptance for value on here. Here we go. Most sovereign citizens are not violent, but the methods and movements advocates are legal. But the methods the movement advocates are illegal. Like what you're advocating for right now, they are illegal. It's illegal to do that. I told you they're going to teach you how to commit fraud and be disingenuous. Sovereign citizens notably adhere to the fraudulent schemes promoted by the redemption accepted for value movement. Many sovereign citizens have been found guilty of offenses such as tax evasion, hostile possession, forgery, threatened public officials, bank fraud, and traffic violations. The redemption movement is a pseudo-law movement, mainly active in the United States and Canada, that promotes fraudulent debt and tax payment schemes. The movement is also called redemptionist. Redemption promoters allege that a secret fund is created for every citizen at birth, and that a procedure exists to redeem or reclaim this fund to pay bills. So the normal thing is to not pay a bill. It's the only reason why they're doing it. It's to not, only reason she's taking notes is to write on it so she don't have to pay a bill. 99.99% of these people in spaces are only here because they heard that you can get goods and services from the United States and don't have to be financially responsible for them. If that was taken out of the whole method, they wouldn't even be here. Common redemption schemes includes acceptance for value, treasury direct accounts, and secure party creditor kits, collections of pseudo-legal tactics sold to participants despite a complete lack of any actual legal basis. Such tactics are sometimes called money for nothing schemes, as they promote to extract money from the government by using secret methods. The name of the A4V scheme in particular has become synonymous with the movement as a whole. Although the movement has maintained a following since the 90s, so back in the 90s, they were already doing what you're saying now in 2025. Its theories are false and meritless. Those who participate in redemption schemes, and especially those who promote them to other people, can face criminal charges and imprisonment. Several government institutions, including the FBI, have issued warnings about the fraudulent character of the redemption schemes. The ideas of the redemption movement should not be confused with the actual legal right of redemption. So that's what they do. They take legal words and blur them with fraudulent processes, under which a debtor may buy back property that has been levied or foreclosed. That's why they have a redemption period. After, let's say you owe $300,000, right? And let's say today is October 15th. You owe $300,000. They foreclosed on you October 18th. You got a redemption period. I think it's either 30 days or 10 days or whatever the state law is. So if you came up with that $300,000 on October 19th, you can now buy the house back. You get the first dibs. That's all it is. It's the debtor gets the first dibs to get the property back. That's all right of redemption means. It don't mean no sovereign citizen. It don't mean I can give a coupon to get it back. It don't mean I got a claim. I got a security interest. You don't have a security interest in the contract. You don't have a security interest in the contract. And this is the problem, because y'all don't understand how financing really works. You gurus don't understand. You all think you got a security interest in the contract itself. Remember when I said you trying to make any arguments related to the contract? That lets me know you don't know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Okay. Yep. And then you write the amount that you want payable in words. So if it's $101, you put 101
times 10.
Let's say it's 58 cents, 58 over $100, just like you would on a check.
Mm-hmm.
Now let's ask yourself a question. Do you think she's going to ask him, have you been successful in this? And can you show me proof right now? Because she's writing this stuff down, but she hasn't asked the important questions. What if they don't accept it? How do I get this enforced? See, they don't ever think that far.
You would write it out just as like you
figures and words. Like if you go to Command F, let me see. Figures and words. Hold on 1 second.
You're fine.
All right, so you write it out in words.
Mm-hmm.
I need to see the whole thing.
So make no goddamn sense.
Yeah, I went down to Verizon and had asked to get it off of paper copy so that I could do this. Yeah, because in our heads, we're thinking, oh, it's automatic draft. It's convenient. No, they did that on purpose, you know?
No, they didn't. It's standard. Simple norm. You got a bill? Here, send this out to this one. Let them know the payment's coming up.
Because we don't know any better.
Yeah.
Oh, you don't know any better. Oh, we know that.
Talking about we saving trees.
Yeah.
No, you're collapsing them. You're burying them. All you're doing is leading people down to financial ruin, financial turmoil. That's all you're doing. You're not the light of the world. You're not the exalted. All you're doing is leading people in worse positions than when they came to you. That's all they're ever left with. They're left in a worse position than before they came to you. Now you biting the Mensa train. First, you was on the Chris Hauser train. All those videos that you took down with the 1099A, you was sounded just like Chris Hauser, beneficiary. You was pretty much mocking him word for word. Your original guru was Chris Hauser, MT. I know you're trying to erase it, but your original guru was Chris Hauser. That says enough alone. And remember when I told you about the Great White Hope? I told you guys, be careful about that Great White Hope. Something don't sound right. I've been reading the instructions. That's not what it's used. No, you don't. You just don't want people to answer you right. Oh, you're an agent. The instructions don't say that. Chris Hauser said we can do this. I said, oh yeah. Chris Hauser said,
I'm like, get out of here.
Right? Not playing that.
Yeah. So, but and then on the back, you want to put your last name, full colon, first name, middle initial, comma, Benny.
Sovereign citizen way of spelling their names. Sovereign citizen way of spelling their names. Let me show you exactly how they spell their names. Sovereign citizen way of spelling their names. How do sovereign citizens spell their names? Like the L Bay first half. So secure power attorney, Grinnell fact. Look, these are all variations how they spell their names. Everything she just said. Everything he just said. This is how they all spell their names. This is how they all spell their names.
He means beneficiary.
What did I say? With the just like the 1099A, beneficiary in the back of the form. What did I just say? I told you. They don't even understand that if you are the beneficiary, why are you sending in anything as the beneficiary? That's the trustee's job. And you can't appoint a trustee. Only the grantor, the person who set up the trust, appoints the trustee. And the trustee moves at the will of the grantor. The beneficiaries have no say-so what happens in the trust unless they are granted the right. But even then, the trustee manages it. They don't even know how simple trust law works. So the person he said he has in his group doing trust law, I guarantee you it's a sovereign citizen way of doing it, because sovereign citizen is the only thing they know.
I didn't do that.
Yep.
Of course you didn't.
I just signed it as a check.
Nope.
And then I wrote without prejudice and in good faith.
Told you. But he thinks that putting beneficiary is going to make any difference.
It's
Don't
like
get me and lock me up.
It's like a check. It's not a check. Okay? It's
Okay,
like a check.
I'll have to get another one.
Okay.
Okay.
So it's not a check. It's like a check.
So
you want to treat it like a check.
Typically, we would write our beneficiary name first hyphen middle.
Listen, how you can either do first hyphen middle, full colon last. It doesn't matter. Just make sure you have the hyphens in there.
Okay.
I told you they get stuck on. This is sovereign citizen at its core. They get stuck on the little stupid meaningless thing. Oh no, you got to put your thumbprint at 45-degree angle. No, you got to put it in red. No, you can't put it in blue. No, you got to sign it in gold. No, you can't sign it in purple. No, you can't sign it in pink. No, you sign it in black. That means you're dead. That means you're civilly dead. So they can tap into the trust without you. No, you can't use this paper. Oh, you got to use carbon paper. No, you can't use the carbon paper with the edges. No, it's got to be smooth. No, it can't be smooth. Oh, it got to be round. No, you can't just spell your name like a normal person. You got to put semicolons in there where they don't even apply in regular literature and grammar. Oh, no, you got to put an exclamation point at the end. No, when you put the B, make sure you put the circle around the B. Oh, no, it got to be half the circle because let you know that's half of with the O. But if you do the other half, that means they're going to give you the full amount. None of that matters. It's still not going to work.
Because I just wrote my name like normal. So I'll just add a hyphen and then a semicolon. And do I have to write beneficiary?
Yeah, put beneficiary because you are. You're the beneficiary in that case on that.
I was about to send all of this off yesterday. So see, I'm glad I did.
Don't waste your time.
It was raining all yesterday.
Don't waste your time. Don't even say nothing. It ain't going to work.
Mm-hmm.
See, good stuff. You guys will get stuck on. I'm telling you, it was like 3 days on your platform, snooping around. I scrolled all the way down to the bottom.
Okay, here's the one, figures and words. It says where the sum. Let me see. Can I turn my camera around? All right, right there.
One second, y'all. 1 second. 1 second. 1 second. I want to see where she at. Look at this. IRS voucher. Instrument year ago. Post office master claim voucher. Surety bond. Instrument. Lease paid. So these are all her videos. UCC1 dot fee schedule. Right? And if you look here, she has not posted a video since last year. Look. Last year. Look. All this a year ago. W4 sandwich. How to find a digital trustee for a corporation. Take Verizon. Look at all this. This was from a year ago. And if you look, her last video, look, she ain't posted in a year. She has not posted in a year. She has not posted in a year. You see that? Millionaire Energy, Trustee Aliens, Transfer Wealth. All this sovereign citizen stuff she was talking about. Because think about it. Before she was doing this, before she got bit by the sovereign citizen bug, she was doing quantum leaping. Those people don't know you anymore. So she realized a lot of people, look, collective reading. She was on this, reactive abuse, emotional rage. Look, 19, and some of this stuff I think just had more value than the other stuff. Look, empath. She had all this, right? But as soon as she started talking about sovereign citizen stuff, now look, 1,000 views, 700 views, 7,000 views, consumer law, adverse action, private arena. Look, as soon as she started talking about all this, and this is what happens when it doesn't work. because she got all these videos. Everybody taking notes. Look, what's her name? What's her name? Lee Daniel. All these videos. She got all this. Shadow work repeated, all this. Private arena, securities agent, all the same old sovereign citizen methods. But when none of it works, they get too embarrassed to show their face. Just like everyone else, it just stops. Look, it just stops. She ain't posted nothing in a year. She hasn't posted anything in a year. That you're on the right path. Where are the results? She's too embarrassed to come back and say none of it worked because she got all this time put into it. And what do? They all just stop because she can't come back online with it because a lot of this shit she tried. A lot of people that got prosecuted went to jail behind. Now look at her. Look at her. Look at her. Nothing in a year. I told you they always just stop. She is too embarrassed. All this sovereign citizen. All of that. What was her Leigh? Let me see. I just want to see. Let me see. Let's see. Hold on. Let's go right here for a second. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Okay, that's not her. Okay, that's not her. I thought I was going to say. Okay, so let me go back here for a second. Let me show you something, though. This is what they all do. They all do this. They all do this. Let me see. I just want to make sure. I just want to make sure she ain't. I just want to make sure she ain't. Okay. I just want to make sure she wasn't caught up in the indictment wave. So it don't seem like she was. So let's just see where she's at. Lee Daniel, where you at? I don't see nothing. I don't see nothing. Just disappeared. Lee Daniel, TikTok. Let's see. Let's see where she at. I think this is her. Let's go. Yeah, this is her. This is her. She's over on TikTok now. Look at this. 15-year-old C, right to rescission. She moved over here. Right of rescission. Public side versus private side. There she at. Banking 101. What does the UCC stand for? Look. Look at this. Look at all this. Non-decedent confirmation. Look at all this. All caps name. Look. Sesti KV Truck. She moved from YouTube over to TikTok. Trust law. The right to travel, Supreme Court. Targeted for knowing too much. No, targeted for committing fraud. Look, powers and duties of the banks. Ain't this what Mentor always pulls? She not knowing it's only talking about federal home loan banks. Ain't got nothing to do with you. Told you, misinterpretation. Look at her. All sovereign citizen. All sovereign citizen. Private. Look at this. Customize yours. Right to travel. All sovereign citizen. Postmaster General. Christina Wilson. Oh my gosh. Everybody got in trouble messing with her. Everybody got in trouble with her. Oh my gosh. Told y'all. Told y'all. Told y'all. Told you. This is what happens. I told you. This is what happens. I told you. I told you. What did they do? Once that shit don't work on YouTube, they go to a new place to monetize their channel. She's only doing that to monetize her channel. None of that shit work. Only thing she's doing is telling people what they want to hear. That's all she's doing. That's all. She's monetizing her channel. She ain't, look at her. Ain't nothing changed. Ain't nothing changed with her. Ain't nothing changed. Ain't nothing changed. Hello. Hey. Nothing. Live right now. But what's that now? But what's oh, okay. God damn. I would text me back if they are not. Look at this. Title acquisition. It's the same old shit. Look at this, y'all. Look at this. It's the same old shit. Title acquisition. I told y'all. Christina Wilson, she had those little ebooks. Patrick from Radiant Clone. This is what she used to say. So you want me to help you as you follow the bullshit teachers from Christina? She got her info from me and twisted everything. How the hell can you borrow from yourself? We can't pay yourself back. If we can borrow from ourselves, there won't be anyone working. Come on, man, wake up. Gullible. Where the hell do people come up with such bullshit? I'm going to start screening my emails and send you guys right back to the bullshit source. This is what happens when you bounce all over YouTube. But here's the thing with that. This is, and he's right about that. I don't really agree with a lot of Radiant Clone, but this is why he's right. See, this is why he's right. Oh, shit. Watch this. This is why you can't do transactions with yourself with the IRS, because they don't recognize it. There you go. The IRS scrutinizes related party transactions to prevent manipulation of taxes, such as creating artificial losses or shifting income. Because these transactions are not made at arm's length, the IRS has specific rules concerning sales, loans, and other dealings between related parties. See? 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 This is why. Individuals and control entities. This is why. So if you're doing business with yourself, this is why they don't honor it. It's considered a related party. This is why. When he said that.
Let this soft mineral melt in your mouth to rebuild your gums and teeth and never need a dentist again. Did you know there is a natural way to regrow teeth and gums?
Inflation is destroying your savings, but gold and silver have protected wealth for thousands of years.
Somebody sent me a lot of her ebooks that they bought from her. I said, oh my God.
From my side commissary account.
Right.
I want to start off with...
She was following Patrick Devine. Patrick Devine did not get any type of remedy. He was the fight. Every new week, it was always something new to do. I'm telling you, y'all, less than 1% of individuals actually knows the right way. And sadly enough, I'm one of them. I'm telling you, none of this stuff works. I've been around dudes who was saying they was trying this stuff back in the early 90s. It's all the same shit here. They just worded it different. They don't even realize the same stuff that they're talking about. People tried it 25, 30 years ago. They don't even understand it.
There, where the sum payable by bill is expressed in words and also in figures, and there's a discrepancy between the two, the sum denoted by words is the amount payable. So that's why you write the words on there. Okay.
That's only if there's a legal discrepancy, not because you're writing the words on it, you idiot.
It should look like this. I don't want to show anybody's personal information. Okay, this is one for a business. It should look like that. See the payable to bearer to order, pay on demand. See the word accepted.
All sovereign citizen. The IRS already all sovereign citizen. All sovereign citizen. IRS is already all sovereign citizen. You know, a person came to me for services because they had all their bills with that on it. And they were so frustrated that none of it worked. I said, none of that was going to work. That's sovereign citizen. They were so hurt when I said it was sovereign citizen. They paid thousands of dollars. That's what they putting on their bills. None of that shit works.
All right. And then on the back.
Beneficiary. Let me guess.
Can it see where the accepted says and all the stuff,
Told
like
you.
all the goodies at the bottom? Is
Told you.
there a particular place that we have to put that, or is just anywhere
I
on?
just make sure it's on there.
Okay.
Yeah, I put the pay to bear at the bottom left and pay demand. I put the words in the middle, and I put accepted at top.
Okay, cool.
Okay.
Yay.
Yay.
And then a little bit of just your knowledge on the straw man, and I guess how it came about and that kind of stuff, because I think that you break it down easy for somebody to understand, where it's not over their heads. It didn't go over mine too often.
Well,
ain't no better feeling, man, when you got the right way, you know the right way, you doing the right way, it's playing out in real time. Judges can't even issue judgments in favor of corporations, even though they got the contract attached saying that you owe, and they still don't enter a judgment in their favor. Ain't no better feeling, man. Ain't no better feeling. I'm telling you, man, ain't no better feeling that knowing. So I don't have to go down all these different, try this and put this on there, do this, straw man. You get straight to the legal law. You get straight to the practical law. You get straight to the case law. You get straight to the advanced accounting. You get straight to the security. You get straight to the point. And yo, I am unmatched when it comes to lawsuits as an individual. Civil lawsuits in state or federal. Unless you are a seasoned lawyer, no one is matching me. I'm making a challenge. No one can match me in civil litigation or federal, criminal, or state. State, more federal. But civil, I'm unmatched. I am unmatched civil litigation.
The straw man concept has it was in court for a long time. You know, it's the person that nobody knew about but did all the talking. And the straw man used to actually have straw in the socks, so people knew who the straw man was. Okay, it's some old school stuff that I have read upon. But the reason it's called a straw man is because, you know, if you look at a scarecrow has, you know, no.
This is called googly gawk, when you don't really have the real answer and you know you just heard it yourself. So you're trying to come up with a legal art. It's all googly gawk. It means nothing. He's not saying nothing.
No brain, no mouth, no. They just, you know, they represent a human. That's why they put the straw man in the field. So when the animals see someone that looks like a human, it scares them off. Okay. All right. But that scarecrow does a lot of work without saying nothing. Right? A lot of work for you. So that's where that term straw man came from. But it's really your estate. Okay? It's really your estate. And it was created because humans cannot be taxed. You can't tax a human.
We just had the historic tax class webinar. And you mean to sit here and tell me that humans can't be taxed? So you mean to tell me the 16th Amendment did not authorize the taxation on corporations and individuals? So you mean the pay-as-you-go, as they call it, the current tax withholding system of 1943, which is a law they passed in Congress saying that humans can't be taxed? See, I can invalidate what he said with that. I can go straight to the act where they passed it as law to invalidate what he said. This shit is so easy with these gurus. They make this shit so easy. This shit is so easy.
All right. But you can tax a commercial entity, right?
And individuals.
So in order for us to be taxed and now have these fees and things of that nature charged to us, a fictitious entity had to be created that represented us, our straw man, our scarecrow. Okay. Same thing happens in voodoo, but you know, that's a different story. So
so this is basically what he's
corporate slave, if you will, to the United States corporate government.
Ah, the government. It loves you and wants to keep you safe and well. It even wants to make paying taxes, fines, and court costs easier for you. How? Well, you'll need to meet your straw man. He was born the same day you were. He looks like you, has the same name, and lives in your house, but you never knew he existed. You will have even paid his parking tickets or taxes. The worst part? He's been dead from day one. From every birth certificate, a legal personality, or legal fiction, is created with the same name to confuse little old you into thinking it's you. So, there is a human you and a paper you, or as it's commonly known, a straw man. So when it seems like government officials, court clerks, or the police are speaking English, they aren't. They're speaking legalese, designed to make you agree to verbal and written contracts without even knowing about it, all spun from Black's Law Dictionary.
About Yusuf-El, Yusuf-El is he's changing his tone a lot. I actually sat in one of his lives, and Yusuf-El, he didn't respond to any of my comments yesterday. I was in his live. I received documents that people were in his SPC stuff, and that's another easy one too. I ain't gonna actually, Yusuf-El started biting off me. Yep, Yusuf-El started biting off me. Yep, Yusuf-El actually started biting off me too. Treasury determination, revenue ruling. The Internal Revenue Service is aware that some taxpayers are claiming that they're not subject to federal income tax, or that their income is excluded because taxpayers have been declared that they have rejected or renounced the United States citizenship because taxpayers are citizens exclusively of a state, sometimes natural-born citizens. You see that? And it gets down to this. See that? Let's get down to all this. It's any argument that a taxpayer income excluded from taxation because the taxpayer has rejected, renounced United States citizenship, natural born citizen, or the taxpayer is not a person defined by the Internal Revenue Code, therefore not subject to federal tax, has no merit and is frivolous. So let's go back to what you were saying, buddy. Let's go back to what you were saying, buddy.
you can't tax without saying nothing, right? That'll work for you. So that's where that term straw man came from. But it's really your estate. Okay? It's really your estate. And it was created because humans cannot be taxed.
Humans cannot be taxed. Right here. Because renounce his citizenship or a natural born citizen of a sovereign state or taxpayer is not a person defined by Internal Revenue Code. Basically, human has no merit and is frivolous. and this is the revenue ruling that they passed out. They're aware taxpayers claiming that they are not subject to federal income tax or that their income excluded from taxation because taxpayers have declared that they have rejected or renounced United States citizenship. Remember, by just saying you're not a citizen no more, remember I said it's not about what you call yourself, it's how you're treated. Remember, just want to know why by you just rejecting your citizenship means nothing? Because you're already declared a United States citizen by the 14th Amendment. The mere fact that you was born with a birth certificate or social security card makes you a U.S. citizen and a citizen of the state you reside in, regardless if you wake up and became woke and found out the truth. You're still a United States citizen. There's no way around it.
You can't attack the human, all right?
I told you, y'all, this shit is light work. This shit is easy.
You're rocking with the best.
This shit is easy. I'm on highly complex financial transactions. I'm on highly complex securities law. This is lightweight. We don't even talk about this in my class. We on corporate level status with this. We on court now. Really, we do this shit like multi-billion-dollar corporate lawyers. Like, this shit is child's play.
But you can tax a commercial entity, right? So in order for us to be taxed and now have these fees and things of that nature charged to us, a fictitious entity had to be created that represented us, our straw man, our scarecrow. Okay. Same thing happens in voodoo, but that's a different story. So
that's a different episode.
Yeah, that's a different episode. I know you probably. I saw you.
Right,
I
did.
A little something about that. Okay.
Which is funny because then there's also a tin man, and the TIN is very important to us too, like the treasury tin or like that kind of thing. So.
And that's what it means. That's what the TIN means. That's what the tin man came. I mean, if you read in the Redemption Man, it kind of gives you that Wizard of Oz story.
What did I say? Look like he's citing all of this shit from. What did he just say? The Redemption Manual.
You're rocking with the best.
Ain't that what he just said? I told you he read the Redemption Manual.
Okay, which I thought was very interesting. Yeah. So
they put it right in front of our face.
Right in front of our face. It's like in plain sight. And when I read that, I said, God dog it.
Right.
So
I've been bamboozled.
And this is the mindset of the everyday sovereign citizen. They've been tricked. They've been schemed. Now they have I need to get you back. I need to get back what's mine now. And this is what starts them on the path. I need to get back. They got me. They've tricked me. I've been paying bills all this time and I wasn't supposed to. That's how it starts. It puts you in a state of victimhood. They did me wrong. This is how the sovereign citizen journey starts, by feeling like you was tricked.
So now you have this fictitious name that can be charged. All right. Birth certificate fees and driver's license fees.
So it's a fictitious name that can be charged. But you notice how he never said how and what that would look like from an accounting standpoint and what that would look like from a legal standpoint and what laws that were passed that gives you authority to charge anything to a birth certificate when it's nothing more than a document to establish identity. It's nothing more than saying that this person was born at this time and this is the mother and this person, this birth is registered with the state. So this person is alive. We know who this person is. It's not just a ghost. You notice how they never break that down because he got it from the Redemption Manual.
You need license for this and things of that nature. And that's where birth certificates came from. It's actually BERTH.
What did I tell you? What did I say? The normal meanings, they always got to mean something else. A birth certificate is now a birth certificate. It's not spelled BIRTH. It's spelled BERTH. And the E stands for economically, which is sided with the sestiki. You see the soundings? Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Sestiki. trust. So when the birth, the E is activating the account. They use the numbers on your birth certificate, and that's the account number. Then your social is the routing, and then it goes through the Treasury direct account, and then it's going to fund, and it hooks up to that account with the Treasury. So every time you get the application now, the number of the application, they're already drawing the money plus the interest. But they're greedy, so they're tricking you into paying twice when they already got the full money from the Treasury. And then here's me. So they got all the money with the Treasury, and banks kind of hate filing foreclosure because they got to spend time and money and attorney fees. Why don't they just get all the principal and interest and then let you go? Because if you understand how investment banking works, understand how these transactions funded, the main portion is the interest. So they got the money off top to satisfy the principal and interest, then legally you've already fulfilled your contract. And if you already fulfilled your contract, why would they care? I mean, they got their interest and they got their principal back. I think they would be happy to let you out the contract if they knew that that's where the full money's going to come from. I think they'd be okay with it. So what is all this? Got to force you to pay again, and then got to spend money to foreclose. You see how it sounds when it's put up under the light of logic? You see how it sounds? If I was a bank and I can get all that money from the Treasury up front, here, take the house, take the keys. I got my principal and interest in one clean swoop. But you notice they got to tell you that, nah, they need you to pay more and more and more. You notice that? Even though the legal contract says that you're paying this and this only. So if you're paying more, it's a breach of contract and it's a conflict of interest with them. Now you could take them to court for paying more. The question is, why don't you take them to court if that's the case? Why you always got to send documents and notices to them? If the Treasury already sent them all the funds, why don't you just take them to court for breach of contract because you're paying more than what you legally allowed to? So why do you send documents to them? Won't you take them to court? You got confirmation that the Treasury sent all the funds down, right? You got confirmation, right? You can show from a legal standpoint in court that the Treasury got all the funds, sent all the funds to you, right? Take them to court. Want to know why they don't? Because they can never prove it. Because it never happened.
All right. Because, you know, we were birthed out of the water. Same thing happens with the boat.
I told you, that's all sovereign citizen breakdown. The birth certificate is a vessel. You were a vessel that came off the ship and you were the dock. Then you got docked from your mom, then the birth. And this is why you're really a vessel. And this is really why courts are admiralty courts, because you're the vessel that shipped from the dock and sailed through the canal. That's why it's called a birth canal. And then it's shipped from there. And that's why all courts are admiralty courts.
Right, when you come, the boat comes from sea, it now becomes a commercial entity. The same thing with us. You know, we came out of our mother's water, so now we have this birth certificate.
So all he's doing is taking the redemption manual explanation and just regurgitating it. So basically, you saying that you're doing an analogy between a ship, a boat in the sea, and applying that to a human being, and now this is why everything is commercial. You idiots. No, you sovereign citizen people are idiots. If you actually believe that makes any remote sense at all, you are an idiot. And you'll never understand what I teach in my Supreme Elite Team group. Oh, if you think like this, or when I teach, your head will explode.
Now,
and America is under admiralty law, so everything's water. Yeah,
everything.
We're dead at
Everything
sea.
is water. Everything, we're dead. Even if you read the Cestui Que Vie Act of 1666,
even if you read the Cestui Que Vie Act of 1666, 1 second, y'all. Let's go to the Cestui Que Vie Act of 1666. I told you, man. Look, they going back to like 20 years ago. They're going back to 20. Look at this. Now, watch this. Does the apply in the United States. Because this is another sovereign citizen theory. No, the Cestui Que Act does not apply in the United States because it was a British law that has been superseded by modern U.S. trust and estate law. While the term Cestui Que is still relevant in some contexts, like insurance, its legal use is governed by current U.S. statutes, and attempts to apply the 1666 Acts are considered a misunderstanding of the law, often associated with sovereign citizen groups. And just in case you need more understanding, this is what happens when you try to cite the Cestui Que 1666 trust. Someone in 2022, just fairly recently, filed. This is what happens when you bring this into court, because it's not going to work administratively. So you're going to have to end up going to court. This is what's going to happen. This is going to happen. Plaintiff filed a foreign complaint, alleges that the United States was acting as a custodian of his estate, pursuant to the Cestui Que Act of 1666. It presumed that he was dead or had abandoned his estate. He further alleges that neither presumption is accurate. He is alive and has not abandoned his estate. He represents to support his allegations. He attaches to his complaint evidence of the United States involvement over the estate and the name and registered number of the estate. Finally, without any further explanation of the nature of his claim or the jurisdictional basis for asserting his claim in this court, these are the two key elements that you have to choose: the cause and nature of your claim and the jurisdictional basis of your claim. How does the court have jurisdiction over this claim, and what is the nature of your claim? Do you want to know why they never answer those questions? Two of the most fundamental things that determines if your case proceeds or gets thrown out: because they don't know. Because they don't know. This is why, because they don't know. Want to know why? Because they don't know court law. They don't know case law. They don't know federal rules of civil procedure. They don't know local rules. They don't know court strategy. They don't know litigation. They don't know litigation strategy. Court is not just putting all your facts in there, throwing it. It's a strategy. It's timing. It's know when to file a motion, know when not to file a motion, know when to appeal, what to put on discovery, subpoena dugas tecum, interrogatories, admissions. Got to know when to do your devoir voir jury instructions. Got to know how to structure them. Got to know how to do this. Got to know how to object. Got to know how to argue. Got to know how to. They know court is so complex. That's why they stay out of court. I love court. So, without explaining that he is the entitlement holder of his estate, he is declared alive and to be compensated the interest from the estate. So, the first document titled Notice and Warning to Utility Companies. Wasn't she trying to do stuff with her bills? Why am I sharing this? Because this sums up everything Coach MT was saying in that video. This is what it's going to look like when they don't honor it administratively and you got to go to court. This is what it looks like. The key allegation in this document is a reference to the bankruptcy, quote unquote, of the United States. That purportedly occurred in 1933. House Joint Resolution was passed in 1933. We only have debt because all property and gold were seized by the government as collateral in the bankruptcy of the United States, end quote. The document also includes the following passage, presented without alteration. So he sends this to a judge, but expects the judge to have enough jurisdiction over him to give him what he wants. But this is what he said. Every judge and every attorney in America, especially those who hold positions with several direct connections into the utilities company's bank accounts and acting as attorneys for the banks, most presumably in all other countries as well, since they all get their instructions from England, the same place that all banks get their instructions through the comptroller of the currency, headquarters in London, England, even though the headquarters for the comptroller of the currency is in Washington, D.C. Each knowing the above and incorporated to be true, since they are well versed on U.S. bankruptcy of 1933, and that America still remains in a state of emergency, even though the emergency related to the March 9th, 1933 Emergency Banking Act ended in 1978, even though it legally ended in 1978. And that's, you can look that up. Remember I said, if you don't know what to look up, you're not going to know what to look up. And all the things you need to know and look up, it's never going to come across because it's not in here. Well, the Supreme Elite Team Group, we put that in here. Under English law, though it's supposed to be a well-kept secret, this means there is no money. It further means that since there is no money, America's signatures are used as the credit to run this country. He attached this. He didn't write this. That comes from his own research. This is out the redemption manual or the other sovereign citizen documents. So they take the sovereign citizen documents and attach it to their court case, because this bridges the gaps to their lack of understanding and the lack of reasoning on how to coherently break it down. So they'll be like, look, judge, it says it right here in this sovereign citizen document. It must be true. That in turn means that it is the American people who are creditors, not the debtors. That's what Coach MT was saying, as the bank and utility companies would like everyone to believe. The second document is schedule of fees, through which plaintiff purports to establish specific monetary penalties for various infractions related to the trust, which owns the copyright, trademark, and name, Marcel Lamar, James Lamar Wood. For example, unsolicited interrogation of the trustee for the trust as to that person's name or driver's license is a $10,000 infraction. Requiring a signature under threat, duress, or coercion is a $1 million infraction. But none of them has ever got their fee schedules cashed out. And then he provides a first will and testament of the grantor, which grantor performs by identifying information for the estate that is the basis for his claim. And what they do is they get their parents to assign the estate over to their child. So they get their parents to sign the document. So this is what all this is. I, Sheila Mack, being a sound mind over age of 50, as grantor of the private security trust estate, Marcel James Lamar Wood, registered number, date of registration, do bless and grant irrevocable power of attorney over said trust security to my son, Marcel J. L. Wood. His ages and or size is 20/10/2022. And then he had an affidavit of correction. You notice they never file motions or memorandums of law on points. They're always going to do affidavits and notices in the courts. Even though the courts commonly say you want to interact with the judge, you have to file a motion or a pleading, and then the opposing counsel must have a copy of it, and then they hold a hearing on it. You make your arguments on the motion, they make their arguments, then the judge rules. That's how court works. But no, not with them. They could circumvent the court rules and get straight to affidavits. Next two documents, affidavit of knowledge of facts. So when it boils down to it, to determine whether the court has jurisdiction, because that's the number one thing. Does the court have jurisdiction over your claim? And if the court has jurisdiction over your claim, have you stated a claim upon which relief can be granted? These are two things that sovereign citizen litigants never do. They never pass those thresholds. That's why the case always gets thrown out at the beginning. If the court finds that it lacks jurisdiction over a claim, Rule 12H3, the rules of the court. If a court finds that it lacks jurisdiction over a claim, Rule 12H3 of the Rules of the United States Court of Federal Claims requires that the courts dismiss the claims. He never read the rules before filing it, because most pro se people, sovereign or not, don't ever study the rules because they don't understand the rules. They think, Judge, this is what happened. They did me wrong. All right, I get what I want. They never line their claims up to follow the court rules. They never style their motions that follows the court rules. They never style the whole motion where it meets the jurisdiction in the venue because they don't know how to. Plaintiff's claim, at best court can discern, is premised on his interpretation of his status as a person who is alive and who may have been presumed dead. His contention that his birth certificate does not accurately reflect his existence, and his assertion that his estate, Marcel James Lamar Wood, requires him to be compensated by the United States. These are sovereign citizen type arguments where such plaintiffs attempts to convince courts that their status as sovereign citizens differs from the status of the fictional individuals identified by their birth certificates or their social security numbers. In the case Davis versus United States, he tried this in 2010. Often, a sovereign citizen plaintiff will argue that his or her birth certificate and or other documents evidences a trust, that he or she has the right to collect the funds in that trust for the United States. See Davenport versus United States. He tried this in 2017. Proponents of the sovereign citizen theory allege that their security interests, just like Mensa always says, the security interests results in the creation of an individual trust account, an attempt to claim the funds in that account by suing the United States. See Rivera versus United States, 2012, noting that a sovereign citizen may assert that he or she is sovereign, not a United States citizen, and therefore is entitled to obtain funds under a theory known as redemption. As in this suit, a sovereign citizen may reference the House Joint Resolution of 1933 as a legal basis for his or her redemption claim. See Rivera. So notice how the judge is striping away, just snatching the core beliefs right from under them. Your birth certificate is not a trust account. There is no trust account. You can't use HJR 192. See, this is why they don't go to court, because all their beliefs get shoved back in their face and rejected. But all we doing is just stripping everything that they believe away. Many sovereign citizens believe that when the government began issuing legal tender in 1933, all citizens were pledged as collateral for the national debt, resulting from the loss of value from the gold standard. All sovereign citizens therefore have two identities: the real private individual and a fictional public person. Refusing to be used as collateral can hypothetically result in access to a trust fund held in the fictional person's name at the U.S. Treasury. Sovereign citizens also sometimes reference the Cestui V Act of 1666. Ain't that what you always cite, Mensa? Or a Cestui V trust as support for their arguments in court. United States versus Nissen, 2021. Discussing a pro se criminal defendant's sovereign citizen arguments that relied on the Cestui V Act of 1666 to assert that the court had no power over him. They even tried this in court cases. Amen versus United States, 2016, discussing a sovereign citizen's redemption claim based on the alleged Cestui V trust account at the United States. Appeal dismissed. Here, similarly, plaintiff relies on the Cestui V Act of 1666 in both the form complaint and its appendix to assert that because he has been presumed dead, the United States became the custodian of his estate and now owes him the interest in the estate. And this is the reason behind the light bill, rent, water bill, taxes, mortgage, auto, credit card, student loans. This is the belief. And this is why they never want to go to court. And this is why they will administrative claim they ass to death. Because they know once it goes to court, reality smacks them in the face. That none of this works. And these arguments have been made way before you started making them. Can you imagine following a path and a belief where people's been constantly rejected, but you're just doing the same things? Finally, this court notes that sovereign citizens often make a distinction between their names written in all capital letters and the names written with just the initial letters capitalized. See Bryant versus Washington Mutual Bank, 2007, and that was a mortgage case. So every type of mortgage defense that these sovereign citizens, social media teachers want to peddle, it's actually in this case. Their whole way of fighting a mortgage for you is in this case. noting that sovereign citizen theory typically asserts that name of the fictitious entity is the real person's name in all capitals letters, which apparently explains why some names are commonly written in all capitals letters on birth certificates, driver's license, and other government documents. Ain't that what you just said, Coach MT? Footnote 2. A custody key is the person whose life measures the duration of a trust, gift, estate, or insurance contract. Foreign law is not among the money mandating sources of law that fall within the ambit of the Tucker Act's wave of sovereign immunity. They don't even understand how the Tucker Act works and how the elements that you have to meet before you come into a court of federal claims. Since he's relying on the SESTA-KB Act, which is a foreign law, it has no applicability in the United States. Sovereign citizens typically believe that when they use proper capitalization of their names, they can redeem the funds held by the United States in secret individual trust accounts for each citizen. So this is why she was like, do you know you're all millionaires? Oh, remember Coach T? No, write it like this. Put the semicolon. Put this. All sovereign citizen. Here too, plaintiff states that his proper name is not to be written in all capital letters as it is written on his birth certificate, and he's entitled to the interest in the estate held by the United States. In short, the legal fiction presented by plaintiff in the complaint is not based in law, but in the fantasies of the sovereign citizen movement. There is no jurisdiction in this court for fictitious claims. Boeing Company versus United States. Like other monetary claims of sovereign citizens, this court has considered, basically saying, we seen this shit for 30 years. The courts have already seen it. Because people used to try to run to courts to get their relief. Now people stay away from courts because they know they're not going to get a relief. Plaintiff's claim must be dismissed for lack of jurisdiction. And that Gravitt case versus United States, 2011, dismissing sua sponte, meaning the judge didn't even ask the other attorney to respond before they made their ruling. They read it and dismissed it. Dismissing sua sponte is what that means. Oh, you even got to know the court lingo. Sovereign citizen claims founded on fictitious trust fund accounts with the United States Department of the Treasury for lack of jurisdiction. The clerk's office is directed to dismiss the complaint for lack of jurisdiction without prejudice. Further, the court certified, pursuant to 28 U.S.C. 1915 A3, that any appeal from this order would not be taken in good faith because, as alleged, plaintiff's claim is clearly beyond the jurisdiction of this court. No costs are awarded. The clerk is directed to enter the judgment accordingly. So is ordered. Senior judge.
You're rocking with the best. You're rocking with the best. You're rocking with the best.
One of my favorite lines is, if y'all don't want to listen to me, I'll let the judge tell you. I love saying it. If y'all don't want to listen to me, I'll let the judge tell you that. Because we're both going to be saying the same thing. So can you imagine what my lawsuits look like? What my court filings look like? You know I don't file that. Can you only imagine Most pro se sovereign citizens cannot even imagine or fathom any lawsuit that's not based on what they believe. They can't fathom filing a lawsuit using regular practical law.
It talks about how to go from dead to live.
Mhm.
All right. I think I'm going to do a video for that on YouTube next because it's in our coupon training. The only thing they don't get is how to write the letters. But so now anytime something happens, everything is a commercial. Everything's commercial. Everything's a contract. All right. And every time a commercial entity comes to you, they're offering you the contract. Same thing, you get pulled over by the police.
That's
the police
contract.
is do you understand? When you say yes, that contract
That
is
locks
done.
you in.
Don't this shit hit different after we just read the court case and the dude was pretty much saying everything in court that he's saying and the judge just tore it all apart? Don't it hit different? It gives a new perspective on these teachers, don't it? The court literally just laid out everything that they're going to say in court, everything that they believe, and dismiss it, threw the case out. Now he's saying it, just teaching it.
Example, when the police say, "Do you understand?" you'll say, "Yes." What they are really saying is, "Do you stand under our authority?" Oops-a-daisy, you just created a verbal contract with them.
As a matter of fact, I have something that I learned. I wrote it down. Let me give it to you all. Every time a commercial entity comes to you, they're offering you the contract. Same thing, you get pulled over by the police.
That's
the police
contract.
is do you understand? When you say yes, that contract
That
is
locks
done.
you in. Yep.
You are ass out, as my friends used to say.
You clever government authority. Oops-a-daisy, understand. You'll say written contract without even knowing about it. All spun from Black's Law Dictionary. For example, when the police say, "Do you understand?" you'll say, "Yes." What they are really saying is, "Do you stand under our authority?" Oops-a-daisy, you just created a verbal contract with them.
What is it? They're offering you the contract. Same thing, you get pulled over by the police.
That's
the police
contract.
is do you understand? When you say yes, that contract
That
is
locks
done.
you in. Yep.
You are ass out, as my friends used to say.
And this is where it gets sad. Do you understand the charges I read to you? Not whether do you agree to them, are you admitting guilt? Do you just understand why you're arrested? Do you understand why I pulled you over? And they'll take that and somehow, because everything is a contract, everything's commercial. If you say yes, you're contracted with them.
When I was growing up. So, but if you don't accept that contract, right? As a matter of fact, I have something that I learned. I wrote it down.
Yeah.
But it's they made an oath to that information, and they've been sold that bill of goods. Hey, we're going to pay you to do this, and they don't do anything with the law. Is the right thing.
Is right. Yeah, because that's the biggest question. Have you done that? Have you done this?
Absolutely.
My bad.
Put that on there. That is your right.
On there.
Every
time. Put that on there.
Yep.
every single time. And so, absolutely, absolutely. And but it just takes, time and the courage to get into the information and read and apply it,
Mm-hmm.
and knowing that what you're doing without a shadow of a doubt is the right thing.
Is right. Yeah, because that's the biggest question. Have you done that? Have you done this? And I'm like, well, yeah, I'm in the process of starting, to be able to send the bill, because we think it's a bill, the coupon back.
Mhm.
So the and then creating my estate, my trust.
You notice how he never came out and said, well, I've done it. It's real. Here, let me show you this. Let me show you what I've done. You notice how he ain't do it. He ain't do it. He ain't even been successful.
I went on IRS and declared myself dead, and then scooped myself back up, and now I'm in an estate. And then I ended up I do have an EIN number. So I feel like it's just claiming yourself, because everybody else is using all your stuff.
And that's all it is. Get an EIN number for the straw man so it can be activated in the IRS account. Oh God.
Even GMEI utilities, same thing.
And what's the number one thing where it goes to show? They always want to get GMEI. Oh, look that up. Look, Social Security number. Oh, go GMEI. Oh, look, everybody. Oh, that's true. Yeah. Let's go to one site. Go to one source. Oh, GMEI. It must be true. Look. It's right here.
I think I learned that from you, but auditing the people, like GMEI. And so some of the things I have done, but as far as the coupons and that kind of thing, I'm still working on those. But it's exciting.
Absolutely.
It is, because you find another UCC and you're like, hell yeah, put that in there too,
Yeah, especially when you're writing your letter of instruction. It's great to have
a letter of instruction.
Places where that institution.
Things. Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. And now that our eyes are being open, they said, well, we can't focus on that. Let's try to focus on this, because they're trying to find a different argument, right?
Yeah.
Outside of what you're asking them to do. But we're having a court procedure class here soon.
Oh, good.
On how to handle yourself in court, and one of our members is going to be putting that class on.
I guarantee you, it's all going to be sovereign citizen rhetoric in court. Smitty's Corner. I guarantee it's all going to be sovereign citizens rhetoric in court. But so we pretty much know where he's on. But it seems like he's switching tones, kind of following Manson now. But let's not forget, Coach MT, that your original teacher was Chris Hauser.
Don't they're going. Anyways, so you follow Chris Hauser? Yeah, me too, bro. I've been following his YouTube videos, bro. He just popped out of nowhere 3 months ago with 500,000 views. We didn't find that suspicious. We didn't find it suspicious at all at first, you feel me? And then he tells us how to be able to make purchases with these 1099As, and they're all about cars, right? But he can't show us proof that he's able to do it, that he's had any luck being able to do it. And then like all his gurus that follow him and back him, they're all teaching and spewing the same shit, right? But no one can show us proof that, his method actually works. Anybody follow Harvey Dent? Anybody follow Harvey Dent? I just like how he likes to drop his little 2 cents on there, just because he's an outside source looking in. Yeah, so for them to be like, sign this piece of paper 7 times over with your signature, and we're going to put it on an IRS document for you, it's fraud, bud. Like, y'all got to know that. Y'all can't be that fucking stupid or that god blessed lazy. You can't. There's no fucking way that you're just going to send your signature to some rando dude you don't fucking know, but because he's Jesus, he's Chris Hauser. He's supposed to make everything better. Have you guys even been listening to what he says in those groups or in the meetings, classes, whatever you want to call them? At the end of the day, dude is telling y'all the complete wrong shit. He's basically the way he's describing how he fills out the 1099As is how he's about to sign it, how he's about to do it for you is basically he's about to put the government as the person receiving the money that he's supposed to be getting for you. Like, don't y'all get that? He popped up out of nowhere 3 months ago, has a 500,000 views. He has been teaching and teaching and teaching this shit, and no one, absolutely fucking no one, has had successful what the fuck he's teaching. He says do not authenticate. That should always be a red flag to everyone. Any guru tells you not to authenticate, not to get your trust fund set up, they are an agent.
That part I totally disagree because you don't need a trust fund set up unless you don't got assets and millions of dollars of assets. Who's that man right there, second to the left? Who's that man second to the left? Great White Hope. Chris Hauser. 2018, he was convicted. I knew something wasn't up with that man. 2018. Five sovereign citizens, including a man previously convicted of vehicular assault, were convicted last week by a Knoxville, Tennessee jury of more than 200 counts of filing fraudulent lien against public officials. Look. The filing of such fraudulent liens and other so-called acts of paper terrorism are hallmarks of sovereign citizens who generally believe state and federal laws and regulations don't apply to them as free men. But that didn't stop authorities in Anderson County, Tennessee from bringing criminal charges against the group of sovereign citizens. Convicted last week were Lee Harold Cromwell, 68 of Oak Ridge, Tennessee, Austin Gary Cooper, 68 of Clinton, Tennessee, Christopher Allen Hauser, 51 of Del Rio, Tennessee, Ronald James Lyons, 52 of Newport, Tennessee, and James Michael Usinger, 64 of Greenville, Tennessee. They were convicted of a combined 204 accounts of fraudulent liens and forgery, exceeding $250,000, according to the Anderson County District Attorney General Dave Clark. He recused himself from the case because of some of the liens were filed against him and his wife. The defendants scheduled to be sentenced next month each face minimum sentences of 15 years. Now, yeah. So how does a sovereign citizen who is facing a minimum of 15 years get out of prison and starts going right on YouTube doing the same shit that got him in trouble? Huh? Huh? How? Huh? Let's see. Christopher Allen Hauser found guilty of trial. This is him. Found guilty at trial. Christopher Allen Hauser. Date of birth, 5/22/65. Disposition, guilty. Remember? They were convicted in May 2018. Make sure I got the right one. And now, if you look at it, he got sentenced June 27, 2018. Case number, offense date. Case citation, filing date. Charge offense, forgery, $250,000 or more. Conviction, forgery, $250,000 or more. Concurrent all counts. Appearance, June 26, 2019. Had a motion. Location, Tennessee Department of Corrections. 20 years. Early release? No. Work release? No. Suspended time? No. And this now look here. So that case, you got 20 years for that. Now for this, let me go back up. It's a lot going on. So we got 20 years for the forgery, $250,000. And then he got convicted of drawing a lien without a legal basis. He got 2 years with that. And none of that seems to run concurrent with the first count. And then he got forgery, $250,000 again. So we got, okay, so that's the 20 years. So then, drawing a lien without a legal basis, you got the 2 years for that. And then in 2019, he's in court for emotional petition. But yet, with 20 years, yet, how is Christopher Allen Hauser able, with a 20-year sentence, all this right here, 20 years, how are you able to be making YouTube videos, because these are all his counts, how are you able to make all these YouTube videos? These are all his counts. These are all his counts. 20 years, looks like I got 22 years. How are you able to make all these YouTube videos, Chris Hauser? And the real question is, who want to take advice from a man that's sitting, that got all that heat up under him? Now, let's go back here. Let's go here for a second. May 2023. May 2023. In an opinion released today by the Tennessee Supreme Court, upheld the forgery convictions and sentences of 5 defendants that collectively filed more than 100 fraudulent financing statements with the Secretary of the Treasury's website. Defendants Ronald Lyons, James Usinger, Lee Cromwell, Austin Cooper, and Christopher Allen Hauser were accused of weaponizing a system that allows secured creditors to give notice of their security interest in debtors' property through filing finances statements on the Secretary of State's website. Defendants collectively filed more than 100 bogus financial statements regarding over 40 Tennessee residents. The financial statements falsely claimed liens for the defendants' alleged security interest in the victim's property as collateral for millions of dollars in fictitious debts. Defendants were named in a multi-count indictment, charging with 102 counts of filing a lien without reasonable cause, Class E felony, and 102 counts of forgery of at least $250,000, a Class A felony. But this is y'all great white hope. Y'all was actually filling out 1099s based on this man's. Look at this. No wonder why y'all was mad when that shit ain't work. Now, on appeal, the trial court subsequently sentenced the defendants to effective sentences ranging from 20 to 50 years. On appeal, the Court of Appeals affirmed those convictions and sentences. The defendants sought permission to appeal in the Tennessee Supreme Court. The court granted permission to appeal solely on the issue whether the evidence was sufficient to support the convictions for the forgery under Tennessee. So the major ones, it was done. Upon review, the Supreme Court unanimously held that defendants' conduct fit within the statutory definition of forgery. A majority of the court also concluded that the evidence was sufficient to support the jury's finding that the apparent value associated with the fraudulent financial statements filed with the defendants were at least $250,000. Therefore, the court affirmed the judgments of the Court of Appeals. So, Christopher Hauser is in a Tennessee prison. May have been out on bond before, but he's been in a prison. He was a convicted felon of the same similar like stuff he's teaching during the time he was out on YouTube. This is your great white hope for you. This is the great white hope. And all the white people out there that would rather follow the great white hope than someone who just knows what they're talking about, regardless of skin color. Look at you now. Look at all you Chris Hausers. The Chris Hauser fan club. Look at you now. You was getting all your information from a person that was sitting on a 200 count indictment. It goes to show that the low hanging fruit is going to be the demise of 99.99% of people. The low hanging fruit mentality. I will show you the recent stuff that's been going on in court. There's no need. Only people I owe it to is my Supreme Elite Team group. There's no need. Just going to come here to let you know, y'all gurus. Next on the list is Yusuf L. I may do a follow-up with Mensa, but you never know. That being said, there's no pressure. We laid back, man. We laid back. We just chilling. There ain't no pressure. No pressure, man. We just, you know, no pressure.
No pressure, nah. I ain't feeling no pressure. No, I ain't stunting her, man. She wanna get on top of shit. I'ma let her. With this street code, I abide to the letter. It's just me against me. I ain't feeling no pressure. There's no hoes bar with the shit, nigga. Everything gon' go. Hoes come to see me. I miss a heart and hustle up with the flow. I used to stand in the crowd, but now I'm the star of the show. My 10 in the field of play. I know you niggas looking down at my toes. I'm only smoking no pressure. I'm digging graves with the shovel. Just like Pac in my nigga bags. You should know Liddy be a rebel. They watch the corner for a stat. Watch out. My little nigga be the lookout. You broke that shit embarrassing. Like the drunk uncle at the cookout. My 10 down, you got a foot out. I fuck my bitch, never pull out. A bitch drowning my drip flicking. She gon' feel the stain from my wrist. You disrespect on that click. I put the tech on your lips. No handouts, they gon' go get it, let it cut a check for quick. No pressure, nah. I ain't feeling no pressure. I ain't stunting her, man. She wanna get on top shit. I'ma let her. With this street code, I abide by to the letter. 100, nigga. It's just me against me. I ain't feeling no pressure. There's no hoes barred with the shit, nigga. Everything gon' go. Hoes come to see me. I miss a heart and hustle up with the flow. I used to stand in the crowd, but now I'm the star of the show. My 10 in the field of play. I know you niggas looking down at my toes. I ain't feeling no pressure. I do this shit in my sleep. I treat the hoes like a dog. Want the bitches on a leash. I open up my palm. Them tell the niggas come and eat. I got a kiss in my hand. Can't tell me I ain't no peace. Let it counting his blessings, know he put me up on this level. My praise is up to the gods, but don't make me turn into a devil. I need to find that screw, cause I know my shit be loose. Went to sleeping on floors, now I'm trapping out of the booth. No pressure, I ain't feeling no pressure. I ain't stunting her, man, she wanna get on top of shit, I'ma let her. With this street code, I abide by to the letter. It's just me against me, I ain't feeling no pressure. There's no hoes barred with the shit, nigga, everything gon' go. Hoes come to see me, I miss a heart and hustle up with the flow. I used to stand in the crowd, but now I'm the star of the show. My 10 in the field of play, I know you niggas looking down at my toes.